Welcome to the BEASTwriter family where social media engagement is encouraged. I am your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and tonight we are going to be discussing and breaking down once again what's going on with Jimmy Garoppolo. If you haven't heard the news, there is a reporter out in New England who reported that the New England Patriots were going to be Jimmy Garoppolo's Plan A option. And for those who want to know exactly what that entails, that's why I'm here. I'm going to break it down. Again, before I go ahead and get started, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. It is going up like this. I can't thank you guys all enough. And the comments and the feedback I've been receiving has been nothing but overwhelming. So again, thank you to all of you. I am doing my BEASTwriter giveaway. I said that I was going to release my winner for this 49ers game day pennant at Candlestick, complete with the number here, so you know it's licensed by the NFL, and this is a limited edition because you can only get it if you were at the game itself. I am going to be releasing the winner for this prize probably later on tonight in another YouTube video. All you have to do is be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you don't have a YouTube channel, go ahead and get one. If you're watching on Twitter as we speak, there is a link in my bio to go ahead and set up that account and subscribe. It's free, just like Twitter, and it's a lot better in my opinion, simply because I can engage with you a lot more, and it gives us all a healthier platform to be working with. All right, so there's that. I'm also, since I'm in the giving mood, I'm going to be giving away, since the topic is Jimmy Garoppolo, this 2018 season ticket holder bobblehead that they released. Again, it's in mint condition, still inside the box, because we all know that Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm just joking. I was going to say fragile. I was going to make a joke out of it, but I'm joking around. But anyways, here it is. It's inside the box. It's fresh and so clean. Still has the ticket here and the number there for the licensing purposes. This is not fake. This is the real deal. Faithful then, faithful now. Are you faithful then? And are you faithful now? I'm pretty sure nowadays I'll say faithful to the Bay, but whatever. And then it has Jimmy Garoppolo's signature along with his stats right here along the back. Can you see that? I think you guys can see that. All right. So, yes, I am unlocking giveaways just for unlocking giveaways. How cool is that? All you got to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's it. Done deal. Leave your comments and like the video. Obviously, the more engagement, the better. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. The BEASTwriter family is growing by the second. I'm already picking up subscribers as we speak, so this is awesome. All right, let's get going. And we are going to get started with your questions as it pertains to Jimmy Garoppolo. And here we go. All right, so Kim Ferrison says from YouTube, I wouldn't be surprised one bit if the Pats made a run at Jimmy G. Absolutely, I agree with you 110%. If you follow my earlier podcast, which I posted on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, I went ahead and spoke about this and talked about Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value. If you missed that podcast that I did exactly 1 month ago today, not to worry. I went ahead and I'll include that in the description below once this live stream has ended, so you can go back and see what I had to say in real time a month ago and how it pertains to today. So what's going on today, right? So let me catch up on some news for you guys. So Greg Bedard said that Jimmy Garoppolo is the Patriots Plan A option, right? So this is exactly what he said. Let me just go ahead and pull up the article here. He says, make no doubt, Garoppolo is Plan A for the Patriots. Bedard told Nick Cattles on the Greg Bedard Patriots podcast. So he's basically saying that he knows that he believes or knows something that Jimmy Garoppolo is the Plan A option. He then goes on to say this. And I quote, Shanahan is the type of guy who thinks that his offensive scheme can win with just about any type of quarterback. That's what he believes. I bet, he says, I bet you Shanahan looks at Bridgewater and says, you know what? That's a guy that I can win with. Maybe he throws a little bit better of a deep ball than Garoppolo for my scheme. Maybe he makes better decisions. Gosh, that's throwing shade at Jimmy Garoppolo. But, hey, we all have to point out his flaws, and Jimmy Garoppolo's flaws is what? Accuracy with the deep ball. So, it is what it is, my man. All right, let's move on. What else did he have to say? Interesting stuff here, right? He says, maybe they're looking to get more ammunition. They decide, you know what? Let's deal off Jimmy Garoppolo to the Patriots, say for a second-round pick. And all of a sudden, we have more ammunition to do something, say we want to move up in the draft, Bedard said. exactly what I said in my earlier podcast exactly 1 month ago on assessing Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value. The reason why I said a day 2 pick is because when you look at it analytically from the 49ers and New England Patriots standpoint, well, what did it take to land Jimmy G in San Francisco? It took a second round pick. Well, that was with a smaller sample size, right? You really didn't know what you were getting with Jimmy Garoppolo, but you knew you were getting potential Jimmy Garoppolo. Now that you have a larger sample size to pull from and games under his belt, you know what you're getting with Jimmy G. You're getting a quarterback that you can win with. He can actually get you to the Super Bowl. However, can he win you the Super Bowl? That remains to be debatable, but he does have the skill set to thrive. Now, is he a top 15 quarterback? Absolutely not. I would say that he's a top 20 quarterback, but to get in the top 15, top 10 quarterback talk, you have to be more consistent. There's definitely flaws in his game. Bedard points it out. The deep ball, accuracy, not living to play another down, not looking or scanning the other side of the field when running through his progressions. These are all mental errors that have been hampering the San Francisco 49ers since Jimmy Garoppolo took place as a starting quarterback in 2017. And we all know what has transpired today, right? So he hits it on so many different points, and I would have to agree with him. Again, if you watch my earlier podcast, that's why you guys are tuning into my podcast, because I foresee these things, and that's why I assessed Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value, because at the end of the day, what's it going to take? Because if GM John Lynch wants a first-round pick, how many GMs out there are actually going to be like, no, he's not a first-round pick, bro. Like, he's a day 2 pick at best, which I said in my podcast right before the Super Bowl, and that's why I pointed that out. So, again, that podcast is holding up strong. The YouTube receipts on that are strong. Go back, and I strongly encourage you to watch that podcast because everything in that podcast makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and talk about it a little bit more. But before I do that, let's go ahead and answer some of your guys' questions because I know you guys are chiming in with those questions. What's up, Robert? How you doing? Robert's one of my loyal followers from YouTube, and he provides great insight, really knows his stuff. Again, we all have this whole social media platform in the day of age of information. I believe the more you can say and the more you know, the bigger the platform will be and in your favor. So that's why it's very evident that YouTube is the way to go, simply because if you look at the comments, it's very well thought out comments, especially when you talk about my family and my BEASTwriter family and my followers. So Robert Watson does a really good job in his analysis and insights and breaking it down brick by brick as it pertains to the San Francisco 49ers. All right. I'm going to take off this banner about the giveaway because we are done with that giveaway. But yeah, ask me any questions you guys have. I'm going to be scrolling back and forth so I can kind of stay up to date on whether on YouTube, whether on Twitter, whether on Facebook, whether on Facebook group, whether on YouTube. All right. D. Wade says, Jimmy to Patriots, Teddy to 49ers. So Jimmy G to the Patriots and Teddy Bridgewater to 49ers. I would just rather roll a Jimmy G. I don't think that. And drop your comments and leave your comments, but correct me if I'm wrong. Wouldn't you rather have a guy like Jimmy G over the guy like Teddy Bridgewater? Teddy B or Jimmy G? Like, who would you rather have? Just because Teddy Bridgewater would be a bridge gap option doesn't make him any less or more better than Jimmy Garoppolo. You roll with Jimmy Garoppolo because you know what you're getting with Jimmy Garoppolo and you know what he can do. Now, we also know what he can't do, but if you bring in a guy like Teddy Bridgewater, then might as well just go out and get Ryan Fitzpatrick and not give up anything. I don't know. That's just my opinion. All right, let's move on. Alex Faulkner, All Things Beast. That's right, Alex. Another one of my loyal followers on YouTube, also on Twitter. But Alex will even tell you this. YouTube is the way to go. It's a better way to engage with me. We only have so many characters on Twitter, and this way it's more socially engaging to where we can have a healthy debate, and then others can also chime in too. So that's why the BEASTwriter family is really strong. Everybody has a strong opinion on certain aspects, and everybody's respectful. I feel like in all these other social media platforms, everyone's trying to outdo the other, and it's really it's a head scratcher at best. Like, okay, calm down, like relax, bro. Chinkis Rodriguez from Facebook says, Niner Nation, what is up, bro? Niner Nation. Oh, and here we have Mariah Lee. She always chimes in from Twitter. YouTube always gives me love. What's up, Mariah? How you doing? How's your happy Sunday going? Let me know how your Sunday went. I didn't work out today because I was so tired from yesterday. and my muscles started to twitch. Anytime your muscles start to twitch, it's a bad thing. It means obviously you weren't stretching enough, or maybe you're dehydrated, or maybe you just need rest. So I have this hypervolt. If you guys don't know what a hypervolt is, it's really just a gun, like a massage gun, and you just like massage the area, and it does wonders. So if you guys, this is not a sponsored post. I'm not sponsored by Hypervolt, but I'm saying Hypervolt is the real deal. Look it up if you guys don't know. Google search it right now. We talk all things NFL and all things Beast. That's what I do. Football and fitness. That's what I do. All right, Kevin Jeter from YouTube says, "Hey, what's up? You already know the YouTube is lit." That's right. If you guys don't know, I'm telling you right now, subscribe to my channel. If you don't subscribe to my channel, you are doing yourself a disservice. And the reason I say that is because this. I've been doing giveaways since becoming a beat writer back in 2014. If you guys do the research and hashtag Spot the Beast, I was running Spot the Beast contest. There's people that actually found me from my giveaways. And later on, be like, dude, you're doing the Spot the Beast contest again? Yes. Well, technically not Spot the Beast contest anymore because it's COVID, but we are still doing giveaways. BEASTwriter is still giving back to you guys and the community. I've always done it this way because without you, there would be no me. So I thank you very much for all the love and support. Without you guys, I wouldn't be where I am today. And again, seriously, YouTube's the way to go. Everyone knows YouTube's the way to go. Everyone that follows me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, they all come and open up an account if they don't have one and say, dude, YouTube is the future. It's the real deal. I'm telling you, YouTube is the way to go. And tell me I'm wrong. Find a way or give me a reason why any of these other social media platforms are better than YouTube. You can live stream, which you can do on other social media platforms, but then the engagement that you get from the comments and then the community it brings by bringing people back inside the app. And then you have a community page. Once you hit a certain number of subscribers, it's really awesome that you can use and take polls in. And you can also ask questions and engage with other influencers. And then also what I really like about YouTube most is the content creation aspect of it, to where everybody who's in the know is on YouTube and they repost their content on YouTube. And if you just look at the comments, you will know there's some people that really know their stuff. And especially in my channel, my people, my family know their stuff. Like I'm telling you, it's legit. All right, let's move on. Kevin Jeter, by the way, what's your lifting program, push, pull, leg? So my program entails a lot of different things just based on what my coach wants and where I am in my prep. Obviously, you guys know that I'm going for my pro card right now. But with things opening back up, I have to give back my strength. I have a bad shoulder right now. But getting back to your question, I don't do a push day or a pull day or necessarily a leg day. I break it up depending on where I am in my prep. Typically, I start off like this. Anybody who's thinking about getting into the gym or getting back into the gym, you always want to start off with one single body part. And the common mistake that people make is, oh man, I missed Monday. I missed the whole weekend. I ate so bad, so I'm going to make up for it on Monday and do an all body workout. And then I'll be okay. No, you never want to do that. You never want. Why? Because you'll just be doing little bits and pieces just to make up for the lost time that you had over the weekend and the bad food that you ate. That's cool that you want to eat bad. I mean, I ate bad food. I had super nachos just before coming on the show from Los Conitos Taqueria in Milpitas. You guys don't know that? That's a hot spot right there. Again, not a sponsored ad, but I can eat. But if you're going to work out, you want to do it right. And the way you do it is you want to work out one single body part and then transition into hitting like maybe the core or maybe the legs. If you do an all body workout just to make up lost time, you're doing yourself a disservice because you're really not hitting those muscles. And at the same time, the blood flow is not going to be maximized in growing those muscles once your workout is concluded. So it just really depends. I can talk to you about that more in detail on another podcast, but let's move on. Chinquez Rodriguez says, I've been a fan since way back in the day. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the love. And you know all about my Spot the Beast Sakamoto contest or Spot Sakamoto contest. They're a lot of fun. What's up, JP? How you doing? JP is one of my loyal followers. He is an Arizona Cardinals fan, but he follows me from day one on YouTube. And I think your Cardinals fans love my stuff, right? They always chime in and have things to say once here in the blue moon. But what do you guys think about JJ Watt? That's what I want to know. You guys got SWAT City there. All right, let's move on. Ryan Bose. Brian Bose says, "What's up, Ryan? What's up, Ryan? How you doing? So, what's the deal? Is this Jimmy rumor for real?" Great question. I think this Jimmy Garoppolo from YouTube. I think this Jimmy Garoppolo rumor is real. And that's why I pointed out that earlier podcast a month ago. And that's why I assessed the trade value. Because again, you can't just put out a trade out there without realizing the compensation and who the potential suitors actually might be. Obviously, the Bill Belichick and Jimmy Garoppolo scenario plays in everyone's favor if they're going to have to take a guess on where Jimmy Garoppolo would go, obviously, because he drafted him in the second round at Eastern Illinois. With that being said, my other second trading partner would be the Houston Texans. Why? Because GM Nick Caserio, I believe, was the director of college scouting or the VPOP or whatever it was back in New England when Jimmy Garoppolo was drafted. And now he's the new GM of the Houston Texans, and we all know what's going on with Deshaun Watson, which leads me to my next question. You want to think outside the box? Why is Fred Warner not being extended? Which, by the way, thank you to Fred Warner Sr., his dad, who just liked all my stuff on Twitter just before coming on to my show. And he follows my podcast. He follows my YouTube. He subscribes to my channel, shows me a lot of love, comments on there. So I'm just saying, you need to pay, the 49ers, you guys need to pay Fred Warner. I keep on saying it. If you guys don't pay Fred Warner, someone else will. And is there a reason that Fred Warner is not being extended? Because, again, you're using Jimmy Garoppolo and Fred Warner, or maybe Fred Warner as trade bait. I mean, get the guy signed. I mean, go on the KNBR flagship station and be like, hey, look, we are not trading Nick Bosa. We are not trading George Kittle. And we are not trading Fred Warner in any type of deal. Those rumors are completely false. And then that'll be the end of it. Why isn't Warner being extended? Is it because he's still being considered in a possible trade scenario, like maybe to the Houston Texans, where GM Nick Caserio wants to leverage his deal and giving up a franchise quarterback by getting a franchise middle linebacker in return, and then leveraging that trade by getting a quarterback he liked back in college in Jimmy Garoppolo, and then wiping your hands clean of Deshaun Watson? Because in the end, draft picks are not the answer, because draft picks are not guaranteed. If you're GM Nick Caserio, you're going to want to leverage this trade with all pro talent. I'm just saying that could very well be in play. Or Nick Bosa, right? If you watched my earlier podcast months ago or weeks ago, a month ago now, on Deshaun Watson possibly coming to the San Francisco 49ers, there's a reason that I include J.J. Watt as part of that blockbuster deal, where he would be wiping your hands clean of $17.5 million because there's zero dead money tied to his contract. And then you can get a guy like Nick Bosa in return, who is a top 5 edge rusher when healthy. It all connects the dots. It all makes sense. So that's why you guys follow my YouTube receipts and follow me on my YouTube account in the BEASTwriter family. All right, let's move on. D-Way, Teddy to 49. I don't like Teddy Bridgewater, man. I don't know. All right, Alex Faulkner says, keep those questions coming. We're getting a lot of them. I promise you I'll get to all of them. Alex Faulkner says, you think there's a world in which Von Miller lines up opposite of Nick Bosa? I believe, number one, Von Miller is not going to be playing for the Denver Broncos next year. Write that down. I think that he's going to play somewhere else because obviously he has a big cap number. And let's face it, Bradley Chubb's the future. Bradley Chubb's the future. And the way the Broncos are set up, especially when they got rid of the players that they did, the veteran players that they did, released, I don't see Von Miller coming back. Now, watch me be wrong, but I don't think Von Miller's coming back. And if he was to play opposite side of, let's say, a Nick Bosa, what's the asking price there? Because if it was me, I would rather the team maybe make a play for a guy. I know you guys are calling me crazy, but I think Chandler Jones might get cut, and he would save the team $15.2 million in cap savings, because the Arizona Cardinals and GM Steve Keim are trying to work out a long-term deal on him playing in the last year of his contract. But then you have Hassan Reddick there, who's an unrestricted free agent who just had a career breakout season. He's a younger alternative than Chandler Jones. They just picked up J.J. Watt. One would think, well, maybe they're looking to hit the Super Bowl window right now in this 1 year, because we don't know what's going on with Chandler Jones's contract. Maybe this is the year to get it done, but they're not 1 or 2 players away. If I'm GM Steve Keim, I'm going to want to mortgage the future in a way where I'm financially set. When you look at the instant gratification versus long-term gains, when you take that into account, then you peel back another layer of the onion to really get to the core, and you say, okay, Chandler Jones, do you want to play here? Let's strike a deal or not. Otherwise, we're just going to release you. Save $15.2 million off the cap. We're also going to release Robert Alford, save another $7 million. That's about $23 million in cap space. We can then roll over that savings into Hassan Reddick's contract. You see where I'm going with this, guys? My mind's just kicking right now. And then from there, what we can do is we can let Chandler Jones walk, give Hassan Reddick what he deserves because we need him long term. And then maybe we can find out a cornerback in the draft and give us some draft flexibility at number 16. Maybe pick up a guy like J.C. Horn, who's my number 2 ranked cornerback out of South Carolina. If Patrick Surtain out of Alabama goes in the top 10 picks, maybe to the Denver Broncos or the Dallas Cowboys. Boom, done. All right, let's move on. Whew. I love football. See, I could talk about any team. It's all good. All right. John S. Clark says, it's where Jimmy G needs to be. We want Watson. Let's go. John S. Clark from Facebook. He wants Deshaun Watson. I think a lot of you fans want Deshaun Watson. Don't mind me as I drink my coffee. I need to stay awake. I was really tired yesterday from doing my live stream. And hopefully I can have the energy to sustain this live stream today. But yeah, a lot of guys like Deshaun Watson. I do too. I think Deshaun Watson's great. However, you don't do it at the expense of giving up your foundational core players, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, George Kittle. You just don't do it. Swipe left. I am not entertaining any offers. And again, if I'm GM John Lynch, I'm calling the flagship station KBR or going on ESPN radio and saying, hey, look, bro, we are not trading Fred Warner, George Kittle, or Nick Bosa. Then we wouldn't have this conversation. Which, by the way, why is Fred Warner not being... That just blows my mind, bro. Like, if I'm Fred Warner, I'm pissed off. I'm peed off. I'm mad. All right, Derek Robinson says, why are 49er fans want Jimmy to go so bad? Well, Derek, great question from YouTube. Again, if you don't subscribe, or if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, be sure to go ahead and do that. I am doing a giveaway. Again, I'm giving away, since the topic is Jimmy Garoppolo, this limited edition 2018 bobblehead. Jimmy Garoppolo still in the box. Haven't touched it at all. Has the NFL license number right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah. But yeah, subscribe to my channel. We'll run this giveaway. The only thing that we're asking is that we pick up subscribers, obviously. So we need about 1,500 subscribers. We're at 1,100 right now, so only 400 more. The best way to grow the BEASTwriter family and channel is to share our content and continue to grow. Leave your comments, like it, share it, retweet it, press all the funny little buttons in the social media apps. Good times. All right, let's move on. But no, I love doing giveaways. That's what I'm here for. All right. Zara Mays says, so cool. Thank you for tuning in, Zara. Appreciate you. Ghost from YouTube. He also changed his name. I think your name was NA before. Now it's Ghost. How do I know this? Again, I answer every single person on YouTube. Like, I will leave. If you leave a comment, I will get back to you. Even if it takes all night, which it does. Sometimes 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, you'll get a notification like, what the heck? This guy's still up? Yes, I'm still up. All right. Ghost says, Kyle going to finally get his quarterback. Fields coming to the Bay. Ooh, you like Justin Fields? I'm not so high on Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is a proverbial boom or bust prospect. However, that's not to say he's not going to be a good quarterback at the next level. I just don't see it. I think that Zach Wilson from BYU is a lot better. I am a Zach Wilson fan. I know some of you guys are, or a lot of you guys are, but who's your quarterback outside of Trevor Lawrence? Because we all know he's going off to Jacksonville with Urban Meyer. All right. Mariah Lee says, from YouTube, because he can stay healthy and we are tired of wasting years with a broken down quarterback. She wants Jimmy Garoppolo gone. I spoke to her about this today on YouTube in the comments section. She was saying she's tired of Jimmy Garoppolo. He's too injury prone. He can't stay on his feet. He gets hurt. He's always flat on his back. Well, that could be the offensive lineman, but Jimmy Garoppolo is not durable. And when he's healthy, he's really, really good. I like Jimmy Garoppolo when healthy. However, durability is the best availability, unfortunately, for Jimmy Garoppolo. The last few years haven't been so fresh and so clean for him. So best of luck, Jimmy Garoppolo, wherever you go, whether it's in San Francisco or the New England Patriots. All right, Alex Faulkner says, Beast, I really want Zach Wilson on the Niners. Me too. I love Zach Wilson. I don't care what it takes. He's such a natural thrower off the ball. And if you watch his Coastal Carolina game, you can easily see the dog in him. I'm telling you, Zach Wilson, I like him. I like Zach Wilson a lot. I know there's some people and some of my colleagues are not high on him. But hey, We all have varying opinions. I like Zach Wilson. Some people like Kellen Mond, who I'm not really high on Kellen Mond, as opposed to a guy like Zach Wilson. But then again, some people are higher on Justin Fields than they are Zach Wilson. I still like Zach Wilson. So if it was my choice, I would have Trevor Lawrence number 1. I would have Zach Wilson number 2. That's how my top 2 quarterback plays will be. But we just have to say how it plays out, man. Everybody has their own, flavor that they want. All right, Derek Robinson says from YouTube, why do 49 fans want Jimmy gone so bad? I think we answered that already. Patrick Silva from Facebook, thank you for tuning in. Patrick was on the other day on my live stream as well. Thank you for tuning in and welcome to the BEASTwriter family. He says Jimmy ain't going anywhere. Well, you must know something I do not. So if you have the inside track or if you spoke with someone, please let me know, because that's not what I'm hearing. There's no guarantee that Jimmy is going to be staying. All signs point that everything's still up in the air, despite what GM John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan is saying. That's why these rumors are popping up. You have to remember, as it gets closer to the draft, we're going to see a lot of smoke and hear a lot of smoke. Those smoke screens are simply in place simply because as we get closer to the draft, you really don't want to know and show your hand what you're going to do in the first round or what you plan on doing entering the draft. That's why free agency is so important, because you can sift through the smoke. Once these teams start putting their money where their mouth is and start signing these financial free agents and putting a financial strain on the cap based on the draft flexibility and the financial cap flexibility that they have, then you can talk about the draft and sift through the smoke and whether or not they're really going to go in that direction. Like if the Niners were to get a veteran quarterback, would they really select another quarterback at number 12? No, they would wipe their hands clean of Jimmy G and move on. So to say that he is a sure thing in San Francisco, I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice, because at the end of the day, these rumors are here for a reason. And a lot of these rumors are not just from nobodies. There's somebodies, right? So that's all I got to say about that. We just have to see how it plays out. All right, let's move on. Move on. Getting up these questions here. Still working on this thing. All right. Brandy Emery Mercado, she says, Jimmy G all day. See, we have a lot of Jimmy Garoppolo fans. I like it. All right. Moses Valley from YouTube says, Teddy is not afraid to move with his feet. Fitz might return. I think. Okay. I don't know if that was a question, but maybe he's just leaving comments. You can also leave your comments if you like. Go ahead and do that. Oh, he said retire. All right. John Niner from YouTube says, rather draft a quarterback on a rookie contract than overpay for Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, I can see that. How you'd want a younger guy you can kind of groom for the foreseeable future rather than just roll with Jimmy G, who's basically damaged goods up to this point, although he did help the team get to the Super Bowl in 2019. And I can tell you, a lot of players have his back inside that locker room, especially George Kittle. He's one of his biggest supporters, and why shouldn't he be, right? He's a team captain, team leader, says all the right things. I think he really does like Jimmy Garoppolo as his quarterback. But at the end of the day, it's not George Kittle's say. He's not the GM. He's not the head coach. It's not one of these Russell Wilson things where he's like, I want more input in personnel decisions. You will never hear George Kittle say that out of his mouth. Not saying Russell Wilson hasn't earned that right, but it's just kind of weird to me how he would say that. But anywho, yeah. So at the end of the day, no matter what players say, Kyle Juszczyk comes out and say it won't affect him. Of course they're going to say that. Like, if you said anything else but those things, we would have a problem. Like, you would just be adding fuel to the fire. Like, if George Kittle came out and said, you know what, Jimmy Garoppolo has been great, but I can understand why the 49ers are looking to upgrade at the position. Whoa, that'd be crazy, right? But he's not going to say that. And even if he did think that, not saying he did or doesn't, but let's say he would never put that out there. That'd just be, you'd just be shooting yourself in the foot. That'd just be a bad move to make. So you guys got to really take stuff for what it's worth and always read between the lines, because you never know what these guys are saying or thinking behind closed doors. Unless you're in the know, right? All right. Okay, Robert Gomez says, do you think Josh Rosen is a poor man, Matt Ryan? No, I think Josh Rosen is a complete waste of time. I don't like Josh Rosen. I never did like Josh Rosen. I think they should move on in another direction. But he has some tools that I guess he can work with, and Kyle Shanahan sees some skill set in his game that he can probably work with and say, hey, we see some potential in this guy. Maybe I can coach him up. Let's give him another year, see how he does under our system, and maybe we have something. Because at the end of the day, every NFL coach believes he can coach up a player to reach his maximum potential. I'm telling you, I talk to every positional coach. If you talk to any offensive coordinator, they will tell you if they see potential in a certain player, they will be the one to believe that they can maximize that player's talent. That's how it is, man. That's how it is. And I think Kyle Shanahan thinks the same way when it comes to Josh Rosen. All right, Patrick, Jimmy G got the respect of the whole team. Well liked in the locker room. Yes, he's well liked in the locker room, but how well received is he by the management positions? I don't know. All right. So Go says, I'm thinking Fields is coming, but what if Kyle makes a package for the set number 2 and grabs Wilson? Why not? Why not go get ahead and get a guy like quarterback Zach Wilson from BYU? I like Zach Wilson. Don't you guys like Zach Wilson? If you don't like Zach Wilson, tell me why. Is it because he didn't play enough games? Is it because he's too inconsistent? Is it because he's too small? What is it that you don't like about Zach Wilson's game? Because I will tell you, from what I see the number 2 quarterback in this year's draft class. That's what I see. And I can run a podcast on this, breaking down brick by brick on game film as to what I see on certain situations and compare that to, like, let's say a Mac Jones, who I also like, and really decipher between, okay, on this specific play, on these routes based on the system that Kyle Shanahan runs, don't you think that Zach Wilson would be better fitted for this offensive scheme rather than a guy like blah, 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 insert the blank? You can't just look at a player and be like, oh, he makes good throws on this play, and then compare him to, oh, this guy makes it. Because again, college comes from all different offenses too. Most all college offenses are what? Come out of the spread formation. Well, okay, cool story, bro. And then you take it a step further and be like, oh, well, this guy's accurate, right? He throws 78% completion rate. Well, then you look at his throws. It's like, well, yeah, he's throwing out of the flat 50% of the time. Or he's throwing down to his check down. That's a tight end running the hook curl route 34% of the time. So, like, how accurate is this guy? And did he throw on the proper shoulder? Did he throw to the receiver in stride? Like, come on, guys. Accuracy can be skewed in so many different ways when it comes to assisting the quarterback play. I'm just letting you guys know. Grading system. You guys don't know? Now you know. I run my own grading system. Yep. All right. Niners all day 55. I'll be fine with trading up for Wilson and getting him at 2. But what would the package look like? Beast. If they were to trade up number 2 with the New York Jets, I think Robert Saleh and Kyle Shanahan can work out a deal, because if you look at the needs that the New York Jets have, it's a lot. I would say the Jacksonville Jaguars, I wouldn't say Jacksonville, I would say the New York Jets and possibly, like, let's say the New England Patriots, and then maybe we can add on the Detroit Lions. I would think those 3 teams would have the most needs of any NFL team. And so when you're Robert Saleh and if you're GM Joe Douglas, you're going to want more darts at the board. You hold the number 2 overall pick. You can get your franchise quarterback, or you can trade for a Deshaun Watson if he waives his no trade clause. If none of those things are in your favor and you plan on keeping Sam Darnold, the best bet would be to trade out of that number 2 spot, stockpile some picks. If you're asking for the asking price, well, a guy like Zach Wilson, number 2 quarterback in this year's draft class, where all these quarterbacks are really quarterback heavy at the top of the draft. You know, anybody in the top 4 you can play musical chairs with there. I would say you can give up at least 2 first-round draft picks, possibly even a player. You know what? I don't think I'd do that. 2 first-round picks and maybe a day 2 pick, or maybe a couple day 2 picks, depending on the draft position of where those picks are made. Obviously, the New York Jets have draft flexibility because, again, they already have 2 first-round draft picks, number 2 and 23. They need a running back to help out whoever's behind center. That's why I believe they are a perfect trade-down scenario, because they can drop from 2 to 12 and then maybe from 12 to 14 or 15. Right ahead, the New England Patriots, who draft number 15, who maybe want a guy like Najee Harris because Bill Belichick has ties to Nick Saban, and Nick Saban is high on Najee Harris. So if he has good input, you might pick Najee Harris over a guy like Mac Jones. You see how I'm doing this? And take maybe Najee Harris. Or if not, pick another flavor. Go with running back Travis Etienne out of Clemson. Or they can trade back, again, stockpile more picks, go in the second round, and get a guy like Javonte Williams out of North Carolina. That's some mock drafts for you information right there if you wanted some. That's like 3 teams I discussed. All right, let's move on. Twisted Eva says, I got that Jimmy bobblehead at Lions versus 49ers. Yeah, you know what's up, bro. Do you still have it in the box, though? It's pretty cool, right? No, seriously, it's pretty cool. I have not opened this. And again, this is our giveaway that the BEASTwriter family is giving away once we hit 1,500 subscribers. We're at 1,100 right now. If you're watching this right now on Twitter, go ahead and click the link in my bio. That will set you forward to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's free, obviously, as all social media apps are. And yeah, straight in its box. Pretty cool. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. I was actually going to pull this baby out, but I said, no, I just might as well do a giveaway. But it's a pretty cool bobblehead. It's kind of heavy, actually, if you think about it. All right, let's move on. Chino Perez from YouTube. Just a quick word of support, bro. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Glad that you're here. I'm trying to read your question if you had a question. I'm reading your comment right now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, the love I've been getting on YouTube has been overwhelming. Like I said, if you don't follow me on YouTube, you're doing yourself a disservice. If you notice, I kind of stay off Twitter now. I kind of stay off Facebook. For those who don't know, I recently got unverified on Twitter simply because I changed my Twitter handle from BEASTwriter _ to BEASTwriter. Again, I had no idea it would remove my badge. Like there was no warning or anything. So it removed my verified badge. So then I was like, okay, I woke up one day. I was like, oh, my badge is removed. I was like, oh, did I do something wrong? And I was like, maybe it's because I switched up my username last night, looked it up. Oh, apparently you could do that. But then there's another section that says you couldn't do that. It's like for verified accounts, you can't do that because it's tied to the account or something. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, luckily I switched it back to BEASTwriter _ what you see today. And I reached out to Twitter support. Twitter Verified even follows me because I am verified or was verified. But I have not been getting any kind of report or any feedback from them. I haven't got a ticket. I've been trying to reach out to them and asking them why. You know, it's not like I did anything wrong, didn't break any guidelines. Obviously, they know this. And I still don't have an answer from Twitter. So, hey, it is what it is. I can't cry over it. I'm not upset over it. Yes, the verified badge is something that obviously we have earned. And it's gone because I changed up the username. So, rookie mistake, I guess, but do I care? No, because at the end of the day, you know, you can only control what you can control. So as much as I want that verified badge back, I am working hard to get it back. Maybe I'll put something out on Twitter again, and maybe we can retweet everything, and maybe that will start the traction on getting me re-verified, because it's not like I'm asking for a handout. I'm just asking for what I have, which is a verification badge next to my name. And the ultimate no, I guess, was switching up my username from BEASTwriter _ to BEASTwriter. Like, you would think there'd be some kind of warning or some kind of pop-up for verified accounts saying, hey, just to let you know, you'd be jeopardizing losing your badge if you change your username. Like, why would I jeopardize that in the first place? Like, if I'd known that, right? I don't know. To me, that's just weird. But let's move on. YouTube's the way to go. YouTube, baby. Let's go. Could Jonnu Smith be a free agent option for the 49ers? Yeah, Jonnu Smith could be a free agent option for the 49ers. I think they would rather go through the draft. Alex Faulkner on YouTube. Again, this is how I got to know Alex Faulkner. He was one of my loyal followers on Twitter. Switched over to YouTube. We've been having a healthy discussion on Kyle Pitts. Possibly on every single podcast we discuss, he brings up Kyle Pitts. He loves Kyle Pitts. I was high on Kyle Pitts, but now I'm even higher on Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is a guy that I can see the 49ers maybe even trading up to get. I mean, if you think about it logically, having two tight ends and a guy like Kyle Pitts who can do so many different things like George Kittle, it would create a mismatch nightmare in more ways than one. Mainly because when you talk about George Kittle, who runs down the seams, and then you have another tight end on the opposite side who can also run down the seams, you can't double team everyone. So you're going to have to single up on someone. And that will really benefit George Kittle. Now, is that going to happen? No, because Kyle Pitts will likely go in the top 8 picks. I seen him today as I was watching NFL Network as high as the top 5 picks. But, I mean, for a tight end, how many tight ends actually realistically go inside the top 10? I mean, yeah, Vernon Davis did it, and a few other players have done it, but not too many. But Kyle Pitts is obviously a different breed in today's NFL, where all the rules are dictated toward these wide receivers and tight ends and fantasy football. Kyle Pitts would be a safe play inside the top 10. I really like Kyle Pitts. That guy's a baller, man. But he plays for Florida. I'm an Alabama fan. Boo. Just joking. All right. Gustavo Mejia says from YouTube, how would you feel if the 49ers traded Jimmy and then traded for Sam Darnold? we'd have more cap space and we'd be able to capitalize on cap casualties unlike any other year because of COVID. Great points, Gustavo. And I answered this in an earlier podcast. I will be sure to include my podcast playlist as it pertains to Jimmy Garoppolo. In fact, I ran a timeline podcast of my podcast in real time, so you can check the YouTube receipts in real time and what is transpiring today in hindsight. I in agreement with you 110%. I think Sam Darnold would be a nice fit for Shanahan's offense. You don't have to give up the farm like you would a Deshaun Watson. Now, the trade-off is maybe the value's not on par, obviously, because Deshaun Watson is a top 3 franchise quarterback. And with Sam Darnold, they're basically getting a guy who has the critical factors to thrive in your offense. However, due to the lack of a supporting cast, we really don't know how well he can be. But under the right guidance, like I said earlier, any coach believes he can coach up that player to reach his maximized, to maximize that guy's potential. I think Sam Darnold will be a smart play for the San Francisco 49ers if they choose to go in another direction. Because like you said, you can then get Sam Darnold and you're not giving up the farm to do it. And then at the same time, you can probably trade off Jimmy Garoppolo as part of that blockbuster deal. So I like Sam Darnold. I know some people are not high on Sam Darnold. For me, I look at it from a supporting cast standpoint. It's hard for any quarterback to have success without an offensive line. So if Sam Darnold was to come to San Francisco with this offensive line, how well would he actually do? Because everything starts up front and games are won down in the trenches, right? So, yeah, I think he'd be a nice play. But again, there's a lot of moving parts as we head into the draft, as well, of course, free agency, which is scheduled to come up in a few weeks or a couple weeks, right? All right, let's move on. Robert Watson says, paying Fred is number one. Completely agree. Yes, you have to play Fred Warner. I mean, when I broke the news that Fred Warner should be extended and people were saying, oh, no, because he's playing in the last year of his rookie contract. I was like, okay, bro. Like, I wouldn't be putting this out there for clickbait, bro. Like, everybody knows I don't do stuff like that. So when I say stuff, people listen. And now what happens? Then Richard Sherman came out and said, oh, I don't think I'm going to return during the season. He came out and said, I don't think I'm going to return because I have to pay Fred how much? 18 to 20 million a year. What did I say on November 3rd? 18 to 20 million a year. Go figure. Go connect the dots. Go back. And then you fast forward to today, and why is Fred Warner not resigned? When you have these other linebackers who came out of the same 2018 free agent draft class who are going to help reset the market, like Roquan Smith, who was drafted number 8 by the Chicago Bears, just one pick before Mike McGlinchey at number 9. When you draft guys like Buffalo Bills, Tremaine Edmonds, who's due for a big money contract. When you have guys drafted behind you like Darius Leonard from the Indianapolis Colts, who's due for a big money contract. All these guys are going to reset the market once free agency begins, at least one of those few players. And if not him, it's going to be Lavonte David that just played in the Super Bowl, who signed a 5-year, $50 million contract back on 2015, is now in line for a new deal. And then you have Devin White, who was just drafted. He's going to be coming up for a few years. So my whole point is this. If you don't resign Fred Warner now, the market's only going to go up. Because if Edmonds, Roquan Smith, or Darius Leonard, if GM Chris Ballard, being the aggressive pusher that he is, resigns Darius Leonard because they have $43 million in salary cap space to go ahead and do that, they can force the 49ers' hand because now the 49ers have no choice but to extend Fred Warner to a bigger deal, or Fred Warner is going to be upset because he should be the highest paid middle linebacker. And if they choose not to do that, then we all know what's going to happen there, right? Then the 49ers will not be able to re-sign left tackle Trent Williams because how much is he going to command on the open market? Greg Rosenthal already said on NFL.com he believes that Trent Williams will be the highest paid 2021 free agent. If you're doing the math, that's about 18 to 20 million a year for Trent Williams. So if Chris Ballard wants to play this game with the 49ers, he already fleeced and got DeForest Buckner last year, first team All-Pro. Could lightning strike twice and get another All-Pro in Trent Williams? Absolutely, because if he resigns Darius Leonard, he's going to make the 49ers look bad because they haven't yet to resign Fred Warner. Fred Warner is going to want more money, and he should. He's the best middle linebacker in the game. And if they don't pay him, then Trent Williams will be like, okay, you got to make a decision because if not, I'm headed to Indy. Why the Indianapolis Colts? I wrote that in an earlier podcast. Be sure to watch that. It makes a lot of sense and how it connects the dots and what I'm talking about. But that's how GMs play this game. They know And if they see something that they want, like a left tackle Trent Williams, because obviously Anthony Costanzo retired, and I need a blindside left tackle for the foreseeable future because we are in win now mode. I'm not afraid to go after household names. I did it with Justin Houston, Eric Ebron, obviously traded for DeForest Buckner, got Phillip Rivers last year, made a trade for Carson Wentz this year. I'm going to force the 49ers' hand because I want left tackle Trent Williams. So Darius Leonard, we have $43 million in cap space. Once free agency opens up, all right, let's sign you to a big money deal. Force the 49ers' hand and GM John Lynch to sign middle linebacker Fred Warner to reset the market. That way he won't have enough money to re-sign Trent Williams, and we'll grab Trent Williams. I'm just saying, makes sense. It makes sense. All right. Mariah says, pay all pro Fred. That's right. Pay all pro Fred. Exactly. All right. Let's move on. 49ers Ultimate Report from YouTube says, sorry I'm late. If Jimmy G is traded, would you want a veteran or a rookie? Well, it all depends, right, on what they get in return. If he's traded to, like, let's say, the New York Jets, they would get Sam Darnold in return. If he was traded to the Houston Texans, obviously they would get Deshaun Watson in return. If he was traded to the New England Patriots in what's called a one-off, because obviously you wouldn't be getting a quarterback in return, I would like them to draft a guy like Mac Jones. I really like Mac Jones, and it's not just because I'm an Alabama fan. For those who don't know, I'm a huge Alabama fan. I already gave my backstory on that, how my uncle had ALS, and during those games, and when I was a kid growing up, that was all that was on TV was Alabama games. Coincidentally, I became friends with a lot of the guys on the coaching staff and a lot of the players over the course of the years and covering in the NFL media, so it just kind of worked out that way. But no, getting back to what the Niners would do, I think Mac Jones would be a perfect fit. Now, those are some things you can work with. I said in my Twitter receipts during the year that he was going to bring a similar presence to Joe Burrow in a sense that his stock would skyrocket, not to the point where Joe Burrow was obviously, drafted number 1 overall, but definitely in top 15 conversation. I would argue that before the season started, Mac Jones and Joe Burrow were 3rd round picks, 4th round picks at best. And he shot up all the way to the 1st round. So I like Mac Jones. What do you guys think of Mac Jones? I really like his game. He's very accurate in all 3 levels, and he can make all the throws. The one thing I will say about him that I really truly love is his ability to stand tall in the pocket and deliver in stride to the receiver with accuracy. Shanahan loves that. All right. Yamal Jamal says, there are leaks of the 49ers bringing back the red 94 throwbacks. Your thoughts? I would love the red 94 throwbacks. I said years ago, I think it was back in 2014, I put up on my website. I put on my website that I think the Niners should go back to the throwbacks. Everybody was like, no, those are ugly, but then you got mixed feelings that some people liked it. I had a straight conversation with Nick Moody when he was on the 49ers. And Nick Moody, we go way back, me and Nick Moody. And I said, hey, what do you think of the 94 throwbacks? Me, him, and Aaron Lynch would talk all the time and hang out outside of the organization. And then he was like, dude, I use them in Madden all the time. I was like, bro. He's like, dude, you should write an article. I was like, okay, I'm gonna write an article on it because I like those 94 uniforms. The last year, did you know? I was like, did you know the last year they won Super Bowl was when they wore those throwback uniforms? He's like, no. He's like, dude, we need those uniforms. So it's like you can tell like how that all plays out because people are very like prestigious and they're like all like about it. So no, the 94 throwback jerseys, man, they were dope, man. I like the thing I like about that 94 throwback jerseys were the white pants and the black. I thought that was really sleek. And then the shadowing on the letters was awesome too. So all right, let's move on. Make me the GM, right? I know all the right moves. No. Honestly, my YouTube receipts don't lie. My Twitter receipts don't lie. It's all out there. When you're more right than wrong and you tell something that should happen and it doesn't happen, then you see these players go off like Justin Jefferson, who went off, Alvin Kamara, who went off, guys who I said the 49ers should have drafted, Jamal Adams at number 2. I don't know. This goes on and on and on. Anyways, Roquan Smith said to trade up to number 8 and get him before the draft. I said they have to get ahead of the Chicago Bears. They didn't do it. But again, what's the asking price, right? These are all a lot of moving parts. From an outsider's perspective, it's hard because unless you're in the position, you really don't know what's going on behind closed doors. But hey, the receipts don't lie. All right, JP from YouTube says, is Verrett really going to test free agency? Saw it on IG. Not sure if it's true. Warner will get paid and how the Niners are behaving will only make it harder for Warner to want to stay. Exactly. I am a firm believer in that, that Warner does need to get paid. Oh, which, by the way, look, Fred Warner's dad loves my stuff. Look at that. Thank you so much. Fred Warner's dad's awesome. Follows me on YouTube. Probably watching this live stream right now. Pay Fred Warner. I got your back, Fred Warner Sr. Pay Fred Warner. You got to do it. If you don't do it, you're doing yourself a disservice. You got to pay that guy. And that was funny. Fred Warner Sr. Awesome. But no, thank you for the love and support. No, you really got to pay Fred Warner. Like, why are you waiting for? Like, what else does Fred Warner have to do? Go to 5 straight first team all pros for you get? I mean, come on, like, pay the guy. If it's a waiting game, okay. But if you're using him as trade bait because you don't know what's going on with Jimmy Garoppolo and still kind of dragging your feet on that trade scenario, then what is really going to happen, bro? I don't know. I have no idea what's going on there, but we all need to see what's going on. All right, do you see any big trades happening at the top of the draft? Alex Faulkner says before the draft. Actually, that's a great question. I do think trades are going to happen at the top of the draft. Let me just go and pull this up for you guys. You look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, they're going to stay pat at number 1, draft Trevor Lawrence. You look at number 2 with the New York Jets. They have 2 first-round draft picks. That is a position where I can see the first trade coming off the board, and simply because, like I said earlier, the New York Jets have a plethora of needs across the board. When you look at it for what it's worth, they have the most needs of any team in the NFL. Right? You can argue maybe the Detroit Lions. They are in a bind too. They have a lot of needs. New England Patriots have a lot of needs. But again, a lot of these teams also have cap space. So when you take that into account, we're going to have to see how free agency plays out in a couple of days or 10 days from now, whenever free agency opens up, and really assess it and peel back another layer of the onion of the core to really assess what they're going to do in free agency or in the draft, excuse me. So I look at the New York Jets as a potential landing trade destination. Again, they have draft flexibility with holding the number 2 and 23 picks. If they roll with Sam Darnold, especially, they still need a running back. They still need a wide receiver. Still need a tight end. Their offensive line has gone to crap. Their defensive line has gone to crap. Right? I don't see their defensive line good. They just released Henry Anderson. So take that a step further. Then you look at the linebackers. They're crap. The cornerbacks, free safety, strong. I mean, the whole team is just not very good. So you're going to need more darts at the board. How do you do that? You leverage the number 2 overall pick. That's why these draft picks are so valuable, because especially at the top of the draft, you can leverage those picks, because if there's a team that really wants a quarterback, they're willing to give up the farm to do it. Hey, if I'm a GM and I'm Joe Douglas, I'm like, oh man, let's hype up these quarterbacks, even though we know we want Sam Darnold. Let's throw out some smoke right here. Let's talk to this beat reporter and let's feed him some information. Let's throw him a bone. Let's throw up a different bone to this beat reporter or this national guy. And then let's see some smoke trending. Let's send some scouts over to here to actually make people believe we actually have interest in this quarterback, when all along we want Sam Darnold. So then when it becomes on draft day, oh, you want this guy, huh? Oh, we want him too. We want Zach Wilson too. No, we're not giving up Zach Wilson unless you give up the farm. That's how it works. I think there are going to be trades. The New York Jets can be a team that can trade back logically. And maybe, like, let's say the Atlanta Falcons, right? The Atlanta Falcons at number 4. They need a quarterback. They're definitely going to go in a new direction with GM Terry Fontenot. Now, the question remains to be seen. Are they interested in Justin Fields or Zach Wilson? That's what it's going to come down to. Ultimately, I believe that guy's going to be Zach Wilson. If the Jets can play their game and throw out smoke out there where they're really interested in Zach Wilson, but really not, can they leverage that trade? Maybe move back 2 spots, get some draft capital in return, and win the draft position game in the 2nd and 3rd rounds because they're picking at the top of the draft? That's something that you have to consider, and I can see that happening. Some of these other teams you look at, like the Miami Dolphins, right, who hold the number 3 and number 18 overall pick. They're in the same position too. Do they roll to a Tagovailoa, or do they go in a different direction, right? As of right now, I have that player being selected as wide receiver Devontae Smith. They can also opt and go for wide receiver Jamar Chase out of LSU, who was a 2020 opt-out. But with that being said, at number 18, I surely think they're going to go running back, especially if Najee Harris is still on the board, because that's about the spot where running backs are going to start to fall off in that 15 to 20 range. You're going to see New England Patriots being rumored to Najee Harris simply because of Bill Belichick's ties to Nick Saban. And then at 16, you're going to see Cliff Kingsbury and GM Steve Keim being tied to guys like Travis Etienne out of Clemson because he might be a better scheme fit than Najee Harris in the scheme that they run there. And then you peel back another layer of the onion to really get the core. You look at number 18, Miami Dolphins to be a perfect play because, again, no matter who the quarterback is for the Miami Dolphins moving forward, they're going to need some type of running game. Najee Harris would be a perfect plug and play because if you pair him up with, let's say, Devontae Smith, along with Tua Tagovailoa, which I stated in an earlier podcast, the Roll Tide Roll reunion is in full swing. That's how I see that playing out. But again, there's a lot of moving parts. We just don't know how it's all going to play out. All right, let's move on. Jerry Yang says, Zach Wilson. Is this the same Jerry? Is this Jerry Yang from the Yang and Ting show? This is my man, Jerry Yang. I think he changed his avatar. He says Zach Wilson would be nice, but not going to be there at 12. Sam Darnold would be good. Yes, me and Jerry talked about this, and I know it's the same Jerry Yang because this is how he talks. He has the same analysis. And yes, I agree with you, Jerry. We talked about this extensively on our own live stream. I think that you are absolutely correct. All right, Gustavo from YouTube. See all these things from YouTube? Everything's on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, do yourself a favor. Click the link in my bio if you're on Twitter. Download YouTube, download the app, subscribe to my channel, and be entered to win this Jimmy Garoppolo bobblehead once we unleash the BEASTwriter giveaway, which is 1,500 subscribers. Gosh. All right. Let's move on. Well, what do you guys think? Ask questions. I want to hear from you. What do you guys think about this whole scenario with, quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, what's going on in New England? And how many of you guys actually like Jimmy Garoppolo? I took a poll, actually. Let me just go ahead and take my poll. I took my poll on YouTube. There's a community page, and it's only for people who hit 1,000 subscribers. We get this cool little perk, I guess, because I'm in the cool kids club now, right? I'm joking, but I posted this 2 hours ago, and my question was, 49ers, or this is my post. 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo is apparently the Patriots' plan A option, which we're discussing, which is why I'm on this live stream. What would it take for Bill Belichick to be reunited with Garoppolo, and how that will affect the 49ers moving forward? Get your questions ready, and as we go live at 6:30, which we are doing, to discuss all things Jimmy Garoppolo. I said, on another note, answer this question. Would you trade Garoppolo for a second-round pick? 78% of you guys said yes. 22% said no. So for the 22% of you that said no, that you would not trade Jimmy Garoppolo for a second-round pick, why would you do that? Why would you not trade Jimmy Garoppolo for a second-round pick? For me, if I was GM John Lynch, I'd do that in a heartbeat. Not because I am saying Jimmy Garoppolo is past his prime. He's done. I just think psychologically the guy needs a fresh start. I wrote earlier podcasts on that. And again, I will post it up. I know a lot of you guys follow me on Facebook pages, follow me on Facebook groups, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram for my fitness grind and football, and my Insta stories, which is Day in the Life of Beast, which is totally fun. I know you guys love those. You guys get to see all the things that I eat while at the gym. Donuts, Rice Krispie treats with almond butter, hazelnut. Yeah, I can eat a lot. If you ever seen me eat, in fact, there's a thing just off the top of my head. When I was working as a beat writer, I went to In-N-Out, went to Krispy Kreme's. It's all on video. I think Matt Mayoko was shooting the video. And Cam Hinton was there. Matt Barrows were there. And then I came into work. I was like, hey, guys, I'm about ready to eat this. You guys want to film me? It's like, okay, what are you doing? So I got 2 Krispy Kreme donuts and got a 4x4, smashed it together, and finished that in like 3.5 minutes or 4 minutes. It was crazy. And I was still hungry afterwards. No, I'm joking. I was full. It was one of the most craziest things I've ever done. I was on a sugar high. My blood pressure is probably through the roof. And then we went to the practice field. I felt like crap. I was like, man, this is not good. I need some bottled water. It's like I'm hungover, but like in a food coma at the same time. It was crazy. I will repost that video up on my YouTube. It got a lot of views actually on Instagram. For those who follow me on Instagram at BEASTwriter, you guys know what was happening in real time. You guys thought it was hilarious. I didn't think it was hilarious after the fact, but it actually tastes pretty good. If you haven't tried Krispy Kreme donuts and In-N-Out at the same time, it's very delicious. Again, not a sponsored post. This is not a sponsored ad. I don't know. I just love food. Don't you guys love food? I love food. All right. Steve Manning says, I have no problem admitting Jamie G has deficiencies, but I'm tired of people saying he's no good. Yeah, I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying Jimmy Garoppolo is not good. That would be unfair for me to say Jimmy Garoppolo is not good. I think he is good. I just think he needs a fresh start. I think it's fair for not only Jimmy Garoppolo, but the 49ers organization. I mean, anytime you're rumored to be in trade discussions after taking their team to the Super Bowl or helping the team reach the Super Bowl, and for the second consecutive offseason, there's all these rumblings, and every time you wake up out of the bed and you just hear, oh my gosh, again, my name's mentioned again, like, when is this going to die out? Like, that's why I say it's very important, if you want these rumors to die, that it comes from the horse's mouth and it comes from GM John Lynch. If you're not going to trade Jimmy Garoppolo and you're not going to use Fred Warner, George Kittle, or Nick Bosa as any part of trade discussions, you shoot that down right away. Why isn't he doing that? Why isn't he going on radio and saying, hey, look, okay, there are no untouchables on this team, but if there were, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, and George Kittle, if you hear any trade rumors regarding that, that's off the table. We are not trading any of those players. We love those players. They represent the brick by brick culture we're establishing here in San Francisco. We obviously drafted these guys for a reason, and we like to keep our all-pro homegrown talent, not trade them away like we did to Forrest Buckner. Just saying. All right. Pat Morocco from Facebook says, put Brady behind the Niners O-line and you'll see the issues lie there. Yes. The O-line needs help. The O-line definitely needs help. I love these questions. Niners all day from YouTube. Another one of my YouTube BEASTwriter family. What do you think about Talanoa Hufanaga from USC? He's a monster. I like him. I think he'd be a really good fit for the 49ers and what they do. He's very physical. That's one thing I like about him is he's physical. That guy's a beast. Like you said, he's a beast. You say he's a monster. I say he's a beast. BEASTwriter approved. All right, let's move on. Trade Jimmy back to England for their first round pick. Bill doesn't pick in the first anyways. JRod88042. Thank you for tuning in, JRod, from Twitter. I appreciate your feedback and analysis, and welcome to the BEASTwriter family. I think this is the first time you tuned into a live stream. I know this because I keep track of everybody off the top of my head. And yeah, I think that Jimmy Garoppolo ultimately would be a nice play going back to New England. However, for a first round pick, I don't think that GM Bill Belichick is willing to give up the number 15th overall pick for Jimmy Garoppolo, because you have to look at it from draft position standpoint. When you're a GM, you look at the draft board and how mock drafts are actually going to play out based on your vertical board and your horizontal board, based on your team's needs and how much draft and cap flexibility you have before entering the draft. So when you look at and take that into account, yes, the Patriots have definitely cap space. Once you fill in those needs, whatever the case may be, whatever direction they go and hit in free agency, I think that play is going to be anywhere from, they can go after a running back, a wide receiver. They need a tight end. Obviously, they need offensive line help. Andrews, the center, is a free agent. So a lot of moving parts. And you look on the flip side of that, they run a 3-4 defense. They obviously need a nose tackle to really set the tone. As anyone that knows, the best play or the best heart and soul of any defensive scheme to be successful, you need a 3-4 nose guard, or what's called the nose tackle. And they don't have that. They don't have their Vince Wilfork, right? So a lot of moving parts for the New England Patriots, but I don't see them giving up number 15th pick overall, because at number 15, like I said earlier, they can have draft flexibility where they can move back in the draft based on these players that are going to be pushed up the board, especially when it comes to the quarterback position. I can honestly say, I have a gut feeling that in the top 15 picks, there'll probably be around 3 or 4 trades in the top 15 picks, if not more. And the reason I say that is because the draft starts at number 2. And the New York Jets are in a very favorable position. If you know what GM Joe Douglas does and watch his track record dating back to the Baltimore Ravens and who he was scouting and the way he's thinking when he gets interviewed by the team reporters, right? This is what I do. I can do this all day. You really have to decipher what you're looking for and what that GM's biases is. Now, take it a step further, right? I always say, take it a step further. Let's go further. Let's dig deeper. Let's really get in the nitty gritty, right? You look at Joe Douglas and you see what he needs. He has a plethora of needs. He obviously can go wide receiver at number 2. But then again, when you look at the vertical board and you also look at the horizontal board and you have so many needs across the board, why not trade back? Keep Sam Darnold, because he didn't really give him a strong supporting cast to begin with. So how do you know his full potential if you don't really give him the assets needed to succeed and putting him in the best position to make plays? Surround him with talent, roll back maybe to number 4 with the Atlanta Falcons, still pick up one of their top 2 picks, or excuse me, top 2 players on their vertical board in Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith, who I believe will be inside their top 5 on their big board. They need a wide receiver. Jamison Crowder is obviously going to be playing in the last year of his contract. He's going to be due for a new deal. They already got rid of Robbie Anderson through trade through Carolina Panthers, right? Or didn't, I think they traded him or they released him, but he's with Carolina right now. So at the end of the day, Denzel Mims is really not the answer as your second-round pick. We all know what he could do. I already said in my Twitter, YouTube receipts before in my pre-draft analysis that he was going to be a bust. Looks like he is. So you're going to have to find a wide receiver. Why not trade with the Atlanta Falcons? Build up the hype for Zach Wilson, let them trade up, and then you take it a step further at number 7 with the Detroit Lions. They're not going to pick Justin Fields if he's available. They have a plethora of needs. GM Brad Holmes, who was the director of college scouting with the Los Angeles Rams when Jared Goff was the quarterback that the team traded up for, he needs draft capital. So he would pull back, and a team that maybe wants Justin Fields at number 7 would make a play right before the Carolina Panthers, who also could make a play for a quarterback, because we all know what's going to go on with Teddy Bridgewater, who signed that two-year deal, I believe, or 3-year deal, whatever it was. A lot of moving parts, but look for those teams to make plays. The Jets and the Detroit Lions inside the top 10. I fully expect them to be trading back and gaining more draft capital, because those are the 2 teams of any NFL team that need to continue to build through the draft, and they have the most holes of any NFL team going into free agency. I don't know. What do you guys think? Good? All right. Herbert Wario from Facebook says, Jimmy G is injury prone. Trade him back to New England. Yes. Yes. All right. Moses Val from YouTube says, what's the most realistic Niners quarterback move? The most realistic, or what I want them to? So the most realistic move, I think they're actually going to keep Jimmy Garoppolo in the end if he's not traded to the New England Patriots. And the reason I say that is because who else do they have right now going for them? If you get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, the message that you're sending to the fans is basically this is going to be a complete rebuild. Doesn't matter if you draft a guy like Zach Wilson, it's going to be considered a complete rebuild mode. Do they want to give off that vibe? I don't know. I would rather just keep Jimmy Garoppolo, see if we can sustain a full 16-game schedule. I see GM John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan picking a quarterback with their first-round pick and using that as a bridge in case Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt, because they need someone to kind of push Jimmy Garoppolo anyways. I don't think Nick Mullins is that guy. Obviously, CJ Beathard hasn't been that guy. And by the way, people tend to forget, CJ Beathard was supposed to be the savior. He was supposed to be the guy. That's why the team traded up in the 3rd round to get CJ Beathard. That was Kyle Shanahan's guy. Look how that turned out. So you would think that Kyle Shanahan would roll with CJ Beathard. I mean, that was his guy. He had great things to say about CJ Beathard. And now here we are again, a few years later, and they're looking for a quarterback. Go figure. All right. Vernon Freeman says, from YouTube, what's up, Vernon? How you doing? First of all, happy Sunday. He says, if we get rid of Jimmy G, it feels like a full rebuild, and I think it would be hard on the locker room morale unless you get a true upgrade like D. Watson. Very true. Vernon also leaves good feedback on YouTube. I love his comments and engagement that he gets on there, so thank you so much. All right. What do you think about Davis Mills, quarterback out of Stanford, in the 4th or 5th round? Davis Mills is cool. I'm not high on Davis Mills. I'd rather go in a different direction, but hey, that's me. I don't know. I just don't like Pac-12 guys. I'm biased toward that. Nah, I'm joking. No, Davis Mills could be good. I mean, again, would I take him in the 4th or 5th round? It depends on who's actually going to be there and who actually drops to the 4th or 5th round. So we will have to see how that plays out. We'll definitely have to see how that plays out. All right. Let's move on. Chris, okay, let's go. Chris Sims said the best for Kyle offense was Mac or Mond and said he had no inside info on that. Is he lying? Is he helping the 49ers confuse other teams? I don't want Mac. I don't know. I can't answer that question. I'm not Chris Sims. I follow Phil Sims. I don't follow Chris Sims, the son. But no, Chris Sims has some good information. I don't know. I don't know. You'd have to ask Chris Sims yourself. I'm not going to touch that one. If Jimmy G would take a pay cut like Francisco Lopez from YouTube says Brady did for the Patriots, maybe he would have a future here, but no. Yeah, I can see, but why would Jimmy G want to take a pay cut? That would be my question to you. All right, let's move on. What are your thoughts on Jimmy Garoppolo's situation? That's what I want to know. What are your thoughts, fans? Go ahead, BEASTwriter family, leave your comments, drop your comments, start the discussion. Tell me why you wouldn't get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo for a second-round pick. Because what I'm looking at it from a mortgaging the future standpoint, because John Lynch shot himself in the foot not once, but twice by trading for rental players. He did it back in 2019 as a half-year rental for Emmanuel Sanders, which is why they had to double down in the draft and miss on Tristan Wirfs, because they had to recoup draft capital from that half-year rental, moving back one spot with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, picking up a late-round pick, and then lightning strikes twice this year. Trent Williams, obviously a one-year rental. In order to get him, they had to give up a third-round pick. So now they're mortgaging their future because they're probably going to be outbid in a bidding war game in free agency where they can't or won't be able to retain his services. So now possibly John Lynch will have to strike again and trade down just to recoup draft capital once again for half or 1 year rental players. Why does he do that? Why does he do that? Why? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. All right, let's move on. What's your assessment on Jimmy G's impact on the 2019 Super Bowl run? Well, I think he was inconsistent. If you watched my film breakdowns of Jimmy Garoppolo, I dissected every interception that he made, the same errors that he made previously, which is why I made those video breakdowns brick by brick, breaking down the play, highlighting certain players, pre-snap recognition, post-snap play, post-snap reads, what these cornerbacks were doing, how they were leveraging their splits, what type of leverage they were playing with, what kind of technique they were playing with. Are they playing an off-man or off-zone coverage? Were they trying to disguise coverage on the back end to confuse Jimmy Garoppolo based on other games prior? These are things that I actually broke down. And you can see that if you just type in Jimmy Garoppolo, BEASTwriter, interception, or something like that, you'll see my BEASTwriter review breakdown there. So it's all there for you. That's why I put up these videos for you. Go ahead and check it out. It got a good feedback on it. A lot of people liked it. So, yeah. All right. Gustavo Mejia says, how would you feel if the 49ers drafted Mac Jones with the 12th pick? It makes my stomach turn just thinking about it. I wouldn't mind drafting him in the 3rd. I like Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones a lot. And drafting him at number 12, would it be a reach? I mean, you talk about reach diminishing the value of the pick. I always talk about this. I don't think it'd be a reach because I think Mac Jones is going to go inside the top 15 just because I think these quarterbacks are going to be pushed up the board simply because a lot of these trades, as I mentioned earlier, like the New York Jets or Detroit Lions, are going to be trading back. So a lot of these teams are going to be moving up. And when you talk about inside the top 10, Mac Jones is going to be a highly coveted prospect because he's going to be the last tier 1 quarterback coming off the board. And a lot of people are going to be vying for his services, especially a team like maybe the Carolina Panthers. You have the San Francisco 49ers, and you really don't know which direction they're going to go in. So while many people don't like Mac Jones, I think you really have to take into account why you don't like Mac Jones. If you're just blaming it because, oh, look at the supporting cast. He had Devontae Smith. He had Najee Harris. He had the best offensive line in college football. Well, that's basically the SEC. You could say the same thing the year prior with Joe Burrow. Oh, he had tight end Thaddeus Moss, Randy Moss's son. Oh, he had Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase on the outside. Oh, they had a stout offensive line. Oh, they had Clyde Edwards-Helaire at running back. So the SEC is always going to be a powerhouse team. So to use that as any excuse not to draft a player because of the supporting cast around him, that's not the best thing to do because it's not his fault. It's not like, okay, I'm getting scouted by these NFL scouts tonight by the NFC South, and this is the play, guys. I want you guys to let all these rushers come at me, and I'm going to have to make a play with my feet and throw on the run and throw it with accuracy on the proper shoulder. Like, no. Like, it's just the way it is. That's the SEC for you. I mean, if you're going to blame a guy because he plays in the SEC and not draft a guy because, oh, well, he has a strong supporting cast, so you downplay his play, like, that's just, to me, it's dumb. All right, Ryan Bowe says, I don't mind Jimmy G when he's healthy, but that's only 50% of the time. So I think it's just time to move on. I agree with you. Fitzpatrick would work. Yeah, I know. Jimmy Garoppolo is not healthy. I apologize for that. Yeah, he's not very healthy at all. All right, let's move on. Shoot me over some questions. I'm just going to go ahead and be talking about some stuff. Let's go ahead and talk about Trent Williams for a second. I did an earlier podcast, also did a live stream. If you're just catching up, go ahead and scroll through my BEASTwriter podcast playlist. It'll be on the episode at the end of this episode. I'll include my podcast playlist. It's called also BEASTwriter Receipts, so you guys can check that in real time. Also, I included that in the description below of all my podcasts. So if you missed anything throughout the week, as I know all of you guys are busy, not to worry. I include my podcast playlist. Just go ahead and click on the videos below, and you will see what I'm talking about in real time, and then connect the dots and play catch up once we go live stream on future streams moving forward. All right. So, yeah, Trent Williams. I said it yesterday. I think the team is better off to just let him walk, let him sign with a team like the Indianapolis Colts, who obviously need a blindside left tackle and are in win now mode. They also have the cap flexibility with $43 million in cap space. You don't want to entertain a bidding war. I said the soft spot for re-signing Trent Williams is in the $18 million range, and I actually pointed out analytics and why I chose $18 million. Obviously, Nate Solder is also 33 years old, as Trent Williams is. He's commanding $15.5 million. He's obviously better than a guy like Nate Solder. He came from the New England Patriots, now with the New York Giants. And then you peel back another layer of the onion to really get to the core. You look at guys like Garrett Bowles, guys like Taylor Lewan, who are getting $17 million and $16 million respectively. Obviously, Trent Williams is better than those players, so he's going to be setting the bar there. But then this is where it gets dicey, because when you look at Ronnie Stanley from the Baltimore Ravens, who's getting $19.7 million and who's under the age of 30, well, you have to take that into consideration, which is why I say $18 million is the soft spot if I'm GM John Lynch and Parag Marathe. If he wants anything above $18 million, if he wants 18.5, I don't care. Maybe 0.5, maybe 18.5, definitely not $19 million, because again, it's better off to re-sign a guy like Kyle Juszczyk and Jason Verrett, two core foundational players you can work with for the foreseeable future. One being a lockdown, shutdown corner, a boundary cornerback who understands the system. He actually can fulfill the void left by Richard Sherman, not just from an on-field presence, but an off-field presence, being a locker room guy. And then you bring in back Kyle Juszczyk, who is basically the best and glue to situational football, down and distance, also acts as a gadget player and a decoy, which forces defenses and defensive coordinators to at least allocate some time throughout the week into their game plan, because you never know what you're going to get with Juice on any given Sunday. Make sense? Makes sense. Ryan Brose from YouTube says, as they say in the movie Draft Day, John Lynch needs to make a splat. Yes, I love the movie Draft Day, Ryan. If you guys don't know, I always use Draft Day references. I said on Twitter when it came to Nick Caserio, I said Nick Caserio is acting like the Browns GM, saying, I want all my draft picks back in David, effing Putney. We all know what happened there. So, yeah, I love that movie Draft Day. All right, let's move on. All right. Damn, you got 3 bobbleheads? Bro, you know how many people want one? All right, let's move on. Let's see. Patrick Silva, faithful since 84. Go Niners. Yes. Alex Faulkner from YouTube says, Sherman said one of the major reasons he wanted to be a Niner was because of Jimmy back in 2017. Then why is he not re-signing with us again? That's a question you need to ask Richard Sherman. I'm not Richard Sherman. Yeah, I don't know. You tell me. I think it comes down to this, in all honesty. I don't think the Niners want to pay him. And I said it last year. I said they held on to him 1 year too long. People who said, Oh, they couldn't resign DeForest Buckner. Not so fast, my friend. My very first BEASTwriter Family podcast episode was dedicated to DeForest Buckner, where I said the team, right after the Super Bowl, should wipe their hands clean of Richard Sherman, save the team $12.9 million in cap savings, roll over that savings into Buckner's future contract, who is already playing on a 5th-year option, friendly deal because he was still on that rookie deal, extend DeForest Buckner, don't resign Eric Armstead, and you're good. But no, they didn't want to do that. Make me GM. Make me GM. Make me GM. I'm joking. All right. Alex also says, Pitts, baby, trading up for him would not be something I'd be upset. See, Alex Faulkner and Pitts, oh my gosh. My boy Alex, he always loves Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts. All right. All right, let's move on. Big Gibson said, I'd rather have Andy Dalton and Sam Darnold. From YouTube, thank you for tuning in, Bay Gibson from YouTube. Over who? Over Jimmy Garoppolo? You'd rather have Andy Dalton over Jimmy Garoppolo. That's a hard sell for me. I'd rather have Jimmy Garoppolo over Andy Dalton any day of the week. Any day of the week. Give me Jimmy Garoppolo. Give me my G over Andy D. Give me my G over Andy D. That's all I got to say about that. I'd rather have Jimmy Garoppolo over Andy Dalton any day of the week. Jimmy G, man. To me, again, Jimmy G is a top 20 quarterback. Is he a top 15 quarterback? He has the potential. He's shown flashes. Maybe in New England, he'll be a top 15 quarterback. Maybe in New England, I think he could be a top 15 quarterback. In San Francisco, no, I think he needs a new slate. I think mentally he's just not all there, simply because all of these trade rumors, it has to be mentally draining on the guy. I have Jimmy G's back in regards to the perspective that you have to put that it's just mentally difficult for anyone to come into a working environment knowing that your boss really doesn't like you. It's like this. It's like you found a new job, right? And you put your 2 weeks notice in, and then you go to work and everybody's just like, yeah, whatever. And you're just playing this waiting game. You know damn well you're not going to have success. Like, you're on your way out anyways. So mentally put yourself in Jimmy Garoppolo's position. That's the same exact feelings that's going through his head. And I know it's like, oh, now we're talking about feelings, but hey, we're all human. If you don't talk about feelings, then you're missing the point of how football is as much physical as it is mental. Little Giants reference by Steve Ettman for the Indianapolis Colts. If you guys seen Little Giants before, one of my favorite all-time movies, great football movie with Rick Moranis. Great movie. I loved it. All right. Robert Gomez says, do you think the Niners can pick up key pieces after June 1? I don't know. They have to keep their in-house free agents first. It all starts with Fred Warner. Are they going to resign Fred Warner first? That remains to be seen. They need to resign Fred Warner. That's all I got to say about that. They need to resign Fred Warner. They got to do it now. I think Fred Warner needs to be resigned, and it needs to happen like right now. Like, how many times have I even gone a day without saying resign Fred Warner? I mean, honestly, have I gone a day without resigning Fred Warner? Michael Miller says, can't sign Fred for $20 million if you can't sign Buck for $20 million. Well, again, Michael Miller, I would have to disagree. Michael Miller, again, has a great Facebook page. Go ahead and follow him. He's going to hop onto my show one of these days. We're still setting that up. But Michael, I would have to disagree. Again, you could say $12.9 million in cap savings from dumping Richard Sherman's contract last year, which I said in my Twitter, YouTube receipts. You can then roll over the savings and roll that over into Buckner's future contract because he was already playing on the 5th-year option. So you can roll that onto his extension and then not resign Eric Armstead. So no, I totally disagree with that. As it pertains to Fred Warner, they can resign Fred Warner. They just don't want to do it. It's like what Warren Buffett said, the greatest investor ever, Warren Buffett. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. If you don't want value, you ain't going to pay the price. Go ahead, go find those bargain free agents. Go out and go get those cheap rookies. See how that's going for you. At some point, you're going to have to pay your guys. And if you're not going to pay your guys, what kind of toxic locker room dynamic is that going to send to the rest of the locker room? Trust me, I talk to the players. I talk to the coaches. I talk to the family members. I know. They're still shook, surprised, and shocked that DeForest Buckner was traded. Those are the 3 words that they always say that come to mind. In fact, I talked to someone today, and He said, coach, former coach, not coaching the Niners anymore, but he was saying an interesting thing. He said for them to say that they couldn't afford DeForest Buckner as a coach, how am I supposed to take that when I know the better you are? Like how he put it like this: the better you are, the more tradable you're going to be. Like, how does that even make sense? Like, he's like DeForest Buckner was the heart and soul of that defense. You lose that heart and soul of the defense, and I said this already on Twitter and YouTube, but he said it like this. He agreed with me. He said he's the heart and soul of the defense. Simply put, like, why would you trade DeForest Buckner when you know he's worth that contract? Because obviously, if he wasn't worth that money, then why did the Colts give him that money? And why were 5 or 6 other teams interested in his services? So obviously he was worth that value because, again, price is what you pay, value is what you get. So limited supply, high demand, right? If you guys know the stock market, basically, or the law of economics, limited supply, high demand, right? If the demand is there and there's a limited supply of it, it's going to be more expensive, right? Limited supply, high demand. So obviously, how many Buckners? Buckners don't grow on trees, so you're going to have to pay something. Oh, he's got wants Aaron Donald money. Well, look what DeForest Buckner did. Wasn't he a first-team All-Pro this year? Doesn't get better than that. Doesn't get better than that. That's all I got to say about that. GM Chris Ballard for the Indianapolis Colts is not afraid to pull the trigger. Again, GM Chris Ballard, in my opinion, is a top 5 GM. He's up there with Eric DeCosta from the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously up there with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Kevin Colbert over there. There's a few other guys I'm really high on as far as GM's concerned. But yeah, dude, Chris Ballard, he's going to play the 49ers again. He's going to force their hand. He's going to re-sign Darius Leonard to a contract extension. And then Fred Warner is going to look at that and his agent be like, we want more money than that. We're obviously going to get more money than that. Force the 49ers hand to where they have to absolutely be at a crossroads between re-signing Fred Warner or Trent Williams. Chris Ballard does this on purpose because he needs a blindside left tackle. Obviously, the Niners would be smart enough to keep Fred Warner. We don't know what's going to happen. And then Trent Williams is going to bolt to the Indianapolis Colts or another team. Odds are Trent Williams is not coming back to San Francisco. That's my thinking. If he does come back to San Francisco, it's going to be really, really shocking because, again, as Greg Rosenthal from NFL.com pointed out, and in my earlier podcast, he believes that Trent Williams is going to reset the free agent market, regardless of position, be the highest paid free agent, regardless of position. That's crazy scary to think about, especially if they're 49ers GM John Lynch. All right. Gustavo said, you said that from YouTube, you said that Darnold might not look good with the 49ers O-line, but his salary would allow the 49ers to sign or draft a better O-line. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. All right, let's move on. Michael says, where are all these teams that are all over the cap going to get the money to sign players? What teams are you talking about? I can talk about any team you want. Give me a team. I'll show you the way. All right, Gustavo Mejia, do you think the Niners are waiting for free agency to see what the linebacker market will look like before they re-sign Warner? Why? The market has already been set. If you, Gustavo, if you follow my podcast earlier, again, there's a reason why Fred Warner Sr. is always liking my stuff, always following me, showing me love on my podcast, on my YouTube, subscribes to my channel, as you should too. But he's already owed $34 million in overdue money. Over the last 2 years, he's been playing Bobby Wagner, who's getting paid $18 million. Fred Warner is getting paid less than $1 million. And when you do the math, that's $17 million in overdue. When you outplay someone who, over the last 2 years, you're already due $34 million in overdue front-loaded money, you're going to be needing your first big payday because you were on a rookie contract, a 4-year rookie contract, whatever the case may be. Now he's looking to get paid. Why would you accept anything less than $18 to $20 million? That's fair. And if he's not going to get $18 to $20 million by San Francisco 49ers, they're going to be looking to trade him because, again, he's still tied to that rookie deal. Obviously, Fred Warner, if you're Fred Warner, I'm talking to you, man. No, don't settle for anything less. You deserve everything and every penny that you deserved. You earned it, bro. Like, you earned every single penny that you earned. I don't care. You get front-loaded money because you're not banking on your future success. You've proven your success on that rookie deal. Some of these other players and some of your teammates have not proven it consistently enough. That's why they got backloaded deals. You, like DeForest Buckner, are a first-team All-Pro. You deserve a front-loaded deal, and you deserve to reset the market. So go get paid, bro, whether that's in San Francisco or somewhere else. I hope you get paid because at the end of the day, you deserve every penny that you get because you earned it and you're already overdue $34 million in guaranteed because you outplayed Bobby Wagner, who set the standard at $18 million a year. And you were by far the better linebacker the last 2 years, as I pointed out in my YouTube receipts. All right, let's move on. Ryan, do you think we could get Emmanuel Sanders back? No. I think Emmanuel Sanders is going to go to another team. I think that bridge has burned. I think Emmanuel Sanders, obviously he's under contract. I believe he signed a 2-year contract or something, right? Isn't he stuck with the New Orleans Saints? Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm late to the game, I think, let me just look it up. I thought Emmanuel Sanders was under contract with the New Orleans Saints. Let me just look this up. If I don't know, now I know, right? All right. So, yeah. Didn't say anything. As of today, he's still signed, right? He's still with the New Orleans Saints. So I don't know if he is on the open market or if he isn't. If he is on the open market, yeah, I mean they could make a play for him, but why not? Why not just re-sign Kendrick Bourne? I'm joking. Emmanuel Sanders is an upgrade over Kendrick Bourne, but Kendrick Bourne is younger. I do like Kendrick Bourne. I like his swagger. I like what Kendrick Bourne brings to the table. Now people can talk about his hands. I really like Kendrick Bourne. Obviously, they already have Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel there. But with that being said, I really like Kendrick Bourne and what he brings to the table. I hope they keep him because he is a great player. In my opinion, I like him. I like Kendrick Bourne. I'm a big Kendrick Bourne fan. All right. Frank sorry, I don't want to butcher your name, Frank. Sorry about that. Frank from Facebook says shooting against a clock and shooting against an opponent are two different things. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that, Frank? I don't understand that. Okay. Niners all day from YouTube says, I think Zach Wilson is our guy. I want him so bad. He even said in an interview on Bill. Yes, he did. So if you read this right here by Niners all day, he is absolutely correct. Zach Wilson went on record saying if there was one offense that he felt most comfortable in playing under, it would be Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers. Plus, history is in his favor. Didn't Steve Young come from BYU? I'm just saying. I'm just trying to connect the dots, but you have to think in the back of your mind that Steve Young really likes Zach Wilson. Man, BYU guy, come to the 49ers. In the back of his head, come on, man. Come on, Shanahan. He's probably talking to Mike, his former offense coach. Hey, you know that Zach Wilson kid? What do you think about him? Oh, man, the guy's great. The guy's great. I'm hearing great things out of BYU. Let's get him. You guys should go get him for real. Okay, I'm going to tell my son to go get him. Hey, Kyle. Steve thinks he's a real deal. You know, he thinks he can run these naked bootlegs I used to run back in 1994 with Brent Jones on these shallow crossing digs, you know, throwing to intermediate to John Taylor and having Jerry Rice go deep. Yeah, we also have he thinks he has a skill set to run a lot of different things to open up the playbook. What do you think of Zach Wilson? I think you and John should do more research on him. I know you guys are already doing your research on quarterbacks, but what do you think about Zach Wilson? Can you ask him this? Oh, yeah. Hey, Steve, what do you think about this? I'm telling you, I think Steve Young really likes BYU Zach Wilson, and he would want Zach Wilson in San Francisco. All right, Charles from YouTube says, who do you think Carolina takes at 8, or do they trade up? Charles, thank you for your question. At number 8, I already did an earlier podcast for all you Carolina Panthers fans. Thank you for tuning in. If you guys don't know, I don't just have Niner fans. I have fans from all different fan bases. That's the BEASTwriter family that we're trying to establish here, where social media engagement is encouraged, and Charles is one of them. So, Charles, to answer your question, it's plain and simple, right? When you look at the Carolina Panthers need, they definitely need a cornerback, right? They definitely need a middle linebacker or an outside linebacker at this point. What I see them doing at number 8 is I still see them drafting Micah Parsons, which I pointed out in an earlier podcast. I believe I did that podcast probably a month ago. And I'll go ahead and put up that podcast in the description below once this live stream concludes. But the reason I said Micah Parsons then, and even Micah Parsons more so now, is look at the moving parts that were made. Anytime GM Scott Fitter, who is the new GM of the Carolina Panthers, goes out and releases Trey Boston, the free safety, you can then move Sam linebacker Jeremy Chin, who was in line for Defensive Rookie of the Year, move him back to his natural safety position. And then that will leave a hole at the Sam linebacker position where I believe Micah Parsons fits, because while most people believe he can play the Mike, I think he's best suited, as I stated in my earlier podcast on Micah Parsons to the Carolina Panthers, that he's better suited to be a sideline-to-sideline presence as the Sam linebacker in that 4-3 defense, teaming up with defensive tackle Derek Brown, the first-round pick, and really having a foundational core you can work with on all three levels. You have Derek Brown down in the trenches. You then have Micah Parsons in the second level, and then you have Jeremy Chin on the back end. Now, they can also roll in a different direction. Should they want to go cornerback and get the cornerback one, I can see that player being Patrick Surtain out of Alabama. He's the most fundamentally sound cornerback coming out of the draft that I have seen since Ahmed Plummer back in 2000 out of the Ohio State University. So when you put that all together and really take it into account, I think they go defense in the end. Some might say they might go tight end Kyle Pitts. We all know that tight end is really a position that Brady and that offense usually doesn't use tight ends. But then again, if you go back to LSU, he did use Thaddeus Moss a lot. So he wasn't a primary option, but he was an option. And Kyle Pitts would give that offense an added dimension. So those are the three plays. I do ultimately believe that pick is going to be Micah Parsons at number 8 or Patrick Surtain at number 8. Number 8 or number 8. Patrick Surtain or Micah Parsons. Those are my picks. Hopefully they go defense because I want my YouTube Twitter receipts to be spot on as we are only on March 7th. All right. Kim Thurston, my draft crush is Mon, but what do you think of Trask? I don't like Trask at all. I know a lot of people like Trask, or some people like Trask. I don't like Trask. I just don't like him. Why? I see inconsistency in his game. Yes, he's accurate, but again, if people want to compare Kyle Trask to whatever quarterback they're comparing to, I'd be quick to argue because, again, for me, it comes down to consistency. I don't see enough consistency in Kyle Trask's game like I did Mac Jones' game to warrant a higher grade than a guy like Mac Jones. That's just my opinion. Correct me if I'm wrong. The YouTube receipts will speak for themselves at the end of year 1 as we see who's right. All right. Michael Miller says, don't have the money to sign Fred. Michael Miller, you would be wrong because they can restructure deals in the form of a signing bonus. So yes, you can restructure deals by changing their roster bonus, their 2021 roster bonus, which a lot of people are doing and a lot of teams are doing, especially GMs, as they approach free agency, is they're doing a lot of restructured deals. Anytime you restructure a 2021 roster bonus into the signing bonus, over the life of the contract of that respective player, you're getting instant cap relief. So while on the surface, as of today and as we speak, they're only $12.5 million in cap health or whatever that number is, 20 million, whatever that number is, they can free up more space as long as these players are willing to negotiate and restructure their deals with their agents. That's going to happen. And to say that they can't afford Fred Warner, I disagree. They can. It comes down to, will they extend Fred Warner, or do they want to extend Fred Warner? If Fred Warner does not get extended by the San Francisco 49ers, you can bet your butt that I will be on this podcast going live stream, and I will have others on this live stream, and we will talk and debate about this hot topic on why they lost back-to-back all-pro players in consecutive seasons, just like they traded and mortgaged their future for half-year rental players. I see a trend, don't you? I see a trend. All right. Gustavo Mejia, do you think John Ross would be a good fit with the 49ers? He'd be cheap for free agent signing. Kyle could get creative with him the way he uses Ayuk and Deebo. Gustavo from YouTube, thank you for tuning in, man. I'm loving your questions on YouTube. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Really appreciate it. To get back to your question, yes, John Ross, I believe, wasn't he drafted number 9 out of the University of Washington, if I'm not mistaken? I believe he was drafted number 9 or something. Definitely inside the top 10, if I'm not mistaken. But he's a diminutive yet shifty wide receiver. He adds definitely returnability. I believe they already tried that with some of these other younger guys in the past as far as being a return presence. But John Ross, to me, I mean, he was disgruntled in Cincinnati. We all know the story there. He's a player who 2 years ago, when he played against the San Francisco 49ers, we saw flashes of his Pro Bowl potential. I think that was like week 2 or week 3 or something in 2019, I believe. And he really shined, right? And can he have that same type of consistency in San Francisco? No, but he does add a certain dimension that the 49ers do not have, and that's game-changing speed, especially when it comes to his lateral agility and lateral quickness. So that's something that I can see possibly making a play for, like a guy like John Ross. But as far as being a actual number 3 wide receiver threat, I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening in San Francisco. All right. Moseville from YouTube says, if I win the bobblehead, you can keep it. Okay, the winner is for the bobblehead giveaway is Moses. No, I'm joking. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But no, at the end of the day, I want to give back. I can always get one of these anytime. Well, actually, I can't because it's limited edition. But I have so much Niner stuff that is memorabilia, a lot of stuff that you guys as fans don't get. A lot of times when I was working with the 49ers media, we got a lot of free stuff, a lot of gifts around the holidays. So they really treated us well. But no, I want to give back to you guys. Obviously, as a season ticket holder with the 49ers as well, we get nice perks here. We get, our choice of season giveaways or not giveaways. Whatever. We know every time they send you something in the mail. Oh, do you want a backpack? Season ticket holder backpack. So we get a backpack, which I chose. Or you can get, a cutting board, or you can get a rug, or you can get a scarf. They do a lot of the cool things for season ticket holders, where before that, they didn't give us anything. I believe one year during Jim Harbaugh's year, they gave us does anyone remember this? I think in 2012, they gave us our season tickets in a binder, in a black binder. If you guys remember this, I opened it up. I was like, what the heck is this, dude? It's like flimsy little binder, and you open it up, and it's like, okay, it has Jim Harbaugh's autograph, like a thank you to the fans, like a generic letter. And I'm looking, I was like, this is what we get as season ticket holders. Like, we get a binder it's called a playbook, and this is all we have. I think it was for the 2012 season. If I remember correctly, it was a black binder. And I'm like, what the heck am I going to do with a black binder? Go back to school? Like, what is this? Like, can't use this. And I was like, man, that sucks. But nowadays they give out like actual free stuff that we can actually all use. Yeah, that was pretty cool. All right, Landemar, keep Jimmy G. Scott Davidson from YouTube says Moses. All right, Victor Perkins. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions regarding the 49ers. I'm going to open up the chat pretty soon. Let me just put that banner up there so you guys can ask me questions. Again, also be sure to subscribe to my channel so you stay up to date on all things Beast in real time. That way you know what's going on, and you can really have a healthy, strong debate on what is going on as it pertains to your San Francisco 49ers or any NFL team. We have Carolina Panthers fans here. We have Arizona Cardinals fans in here. Everybody's well-liked and well-respected, so that's all I ask in the BEASTwriter family is that you respect each other. Don't try to troll each other or act like you know more than each other, because I will boot you out of the family. That's not how we do things here. Maybe that's how you guys run things on your other social media outlets, but that's not how we do it here. We're all about them good vibes only. Everybody is well-respected here, and no matter what team you root for, we can all come together as one, right? There's too much violence in this world, man. There's all this violence that I'm hearing on the news and stuff, especially with the Asian Americans, and people are asking me on that and for my opinion on that. I'm not going to get all political, but no, it's something that there's just way too much violence in this world, and I feel like us as influencers, like we can actually create change. At the end of the day, though, it's like, I don't know. This world's nuts. Like, everybody is fighting everyone for whatever reason. It doesn't really make sense. Like, I don't get how I see stuff like my parents grew up in Chinatown. My mom grew up in Chinatown in San Francisco. My family is very well known in San Francisco, Chinatown, and seeing what's going on there, and then seeing what's going on in Oakland. Obviously, for those who don't know, I'm multi-Asian. Like, I'm Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese. So I'm a lot of different things, but people are asking for, what are your thoughts? Like, what do you have going on? I have some things I'm doing behind the scenes, and we're really going to bring this to light, because I think us as people, we really have a voice in how we want to portray ourselves, but then also what are we trying to do, like, to bring the community together? Like, are we just coming around this time just because of all the stuff that's going on? No, it should be an ongoing thing, right? It should be an ongoing thing. And that's one of the things that I started when I started Bay Area Rooted, is because, there's so much bad stuff in this world, it's just ridiculous. So yeah, everyone's asking me up, what's going on with the whole Asian American, hate crimes that are happening. It's awful. Obviously, it's awful. I mean, it's bad. Am I scared to go out? No, I'm not scared to go out. Are my parents scared to go out? Yeah, they're scared to go out because you never know what's going to happen, especially here. So at the end of the day, it's like, you can only control what you can control. But yeah, just be well respected, and I see all these social media platforms out there, and they're all like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, bro. Oh, that's stupid. Oh, you're a clown, bro. Oh, you're just like, dude, like, what's the point of that? Why don't you have a healthy discussion on why? And then you ask them the why, and they don't have an answer. So like, that's funny how people say stuff, and it's just like they don't really have an answer to what they're talking about. So, anyways, I just think that's weird. But yeah, there's so much hate in this world. Let's spread the love. That's good vibes only. If you're all about good vibes only, join the BEASTwriter family because that's what we're all about. That's what we are all about here. All right, let's get on and answer your questions. Landon Meyer, going to be learning curve for anyone else coming in with Kyle's playbook? Yes, absolutely. All right, Robert Watson from YouTube asks, I'm not a fan of Jimmy. He has trouble passing after the first read. Belichick can turn him around, though. Yes, I agree with Robert Watson. Again, Robert Watson, one of my most loyal followers on YouTube. He believes that Jimmy can have a resurrected career under Bill Belichick, and I agree 110%. Landon Meyer says, sign Trent and cut D4 Western Richford. Oh. Fox hitting 541. What's up, man? From YouTube. Look at, he even has as his avatar the 1994 throwbacks. What do you guys think about the 1994 throwbacks? Drop your comments. I want to hear it and hear what you have to say about that. Landon Myers says, sign Alex Mack for center. A lot of you guys like Alex Mack. I think you guys like Alex Mack because of his ties with Kyle Shanahan back with the Atlanta Falcons, but we're going to have to see how that plays out. Ravi, my man Ravi from YouTube says, Kyle's system is really complicated. It takes a while for them to learn it. That's true. Very true, Ravi. Very, very true. All right. Let's answer. You guys have any questions? Go ahead and ask them. I will be sure to go ahead and answer them the best I can. All right. You guys all like Jimmy G. It seems like as I'm pulling up these comments right here, really interesting to see what you guys have to say about that. I don't know. I think a lot of the fan base is torn between Jimmy Garoppolo and whoever that quarterback is, because obviously Jimmy Garoppolo helped get the 49ers to the Super Bowl back in 2019. However, 2 years later, here we are sitting down and it's like, what's going on? Like, is he going to be the starter or is he not going to be the starter? And if he's not going to be the starter, then why keep him on the roster as damaged goods when you know you're not going to get the best Jimmy Garoppolo that you did back in 2019? If you believe that was his ceiling and you want more and you know that he can't provide more because that's where he's at physically and mentally, then why keep him on the roster? Why do that? Just let him go somewhere else, let him shine somewhere else, and let him continue to grow and progress his career rather than holding on to dead weight or that you view as dead weight and then bringing in like a rookie quarterback to where now you're putting him at an even bigger disadvantage because now he's constantly looking over his shoulder in practice, wondering if he's going to get first team reps week in and week out. Oh, this week you have Mac Jones sharing first team reps with the first team offense with Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know. I'm just saying. I am just saying that can happen. What you guys think about that? All right. Well, I think that's about it. Yeah, see, Jerry Yang's on top of it. He said, Emmanuel Sanders signed a 2-year, $24 million last year with the Saints. So, yeah, he's under contract. That's what I'm saying. Why are people asking about Emmanuel Sanders? Like, did I miss something? But, yeah, I don't know. Oh, then Ryan Bose from YouTube. See, this is why I like YouTube. See, even I don't know. He says, I have heard the Saints are going to cut him. Well, not yet, right? He's not cut yet. He can be cut, but not yet. He is not cut yet. James Forrester from YouTube says, Zach Wilson looks like a prom king. Don't see that guy commanding respect of NFL locker room. James Forrester, great insight. Love him. Drops knowledge on YouTube and all my podcast episodes. But I would have to disagree with you, James. I don't think he's a prom king at all. Well, he looks like a prom king, but yeah. All right. Okay, so here we have Stephen Garrison from Facebook, of all places. He's calling all of us idiots if we want Jimmy Garoppolo to be traded or replaced. That's bad vibes, man. Like idiots. Okay. So Stephen, I have a question for you, Stephen. Thank you for tuning in. First of all, I respect your analysis. First of all, why is it idiotic for us to think that Jimmy Garoppolo should be traded or replaced? Back it up with facts. Is it durability? Because he definitely doesn't have that. Is it accuracy with his deep arm? Because he definitely doesn't have that. Is it his ability to live to play another down? Because he definitely doesn't have that. Does he go through his progressions, scanning the whole entire field? Definitely doesn't do that. Does he look off the safety in single high cover 3 zones, or even a cover 2, mirror cover 1, or inverted cover 3? Definitely doesn't do that. So what are you talking about? Why are we idiotic again? I'm just saying, if you can answer those questions, I come back at you with facts. Those are 5 right there. Tell me exactly why you think Jimmy Garoppolo should not be traded or released. Back it up with facts. Like what improvement have you seen from 2019 to today that can make you think that it's an idiotic move for anybody to think that they should move on from Jimmy G? I just call it how I see it. Jerry Yang, Beast, let's recreate the phone call between Mike and Steve Young on our show on Monday. I'll make it funny for you. Okay. Jerry Yang, if you guys don't know, we were going live stream on the Yang Monday show dedicated to Jerry Yang, and that's going to be at 2:30 p.m. as always in our weekly BEASTwriter family podcast. That should be a lot of fun. All right. Is it completely out of the picture that the Pats offer their first this year for Jimmy G? It's not completely off the table. I mean, they can do it, but I don't see it as being likely, Kevin. I just don't see that. I don't see that happening anytime soon. As far as giving up a first-round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo, I think that's a little high for Jimmy Garoppolo's stock. But again, we really don't know how everything's going to play out. We really don't know how everything's going to play out. And Niners all day. Oh, okay, look what Jerry Yang, look what you started, bro. Now people want this phone call. Oh, we're going to make it fun, bro. We're going to make it fun. I tell you that. We are going to make this fun. Tomorrow's live stream, it's going to be an exclusive phone call between Steve Young and John Lynch. Or Steve Young and Kyle Shanahan. Or both. Or both. Thank you, Yako, for tuning in from YouTube. Again, if you don't subscribe to my YouTube channel, be sure to do that. As you can see, look how many people right there subscribe to my YouTube. You see a little, I don't know if you guys see the icon, but everybody's on YouTube. Everybody's following me on YouTube. I'm trying to bridge all my followers on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all over into YouTube, because YouTube is the place to be where social media engagement is encouraged as we continue to grow the BEASTwriter family. That's how we do it. All right. Kevin Jeter says, I'm actually not familiar with you in terms of competition, but do you compete in men's physique or bodybuilding competition weight? I compete in men's physique. I'm actually Evogen athlete, 19-time Olympia coach, Hani Rambod. They call me Evo Beast. If you want any discounts on anything, hit me up. Evogen Nutrition is where it's at. I got you. That's not a sponsored post. But no, Evogen Nutrition is my team. I do compete in men's physique. I am actually going to make the switch and bump up to classic. My current weight right now is 153. My current weight on stage is about 158. My body fat percentage is probably around 3.5% at most. So I'm a pretty small guy. I'm only 5'5", but when I step on stage, I bring the pain for real. Like I don't mess around, man. And yeah, Evogen Elite, man. Evogen Elite, Evogen Athlete. Evogen Nutrition's where it's at. So yeah, it's fun. It's stressful, but at the end of the day, it's well worth it, because once you win and once you hold up that trophy, man, you're on the freaking sky high. If you compete, I don't know if you compete. I want to know if you compete, Kevin. If you compete, let me know what shows you do. I actually do the pro shows, whether it's Governor's Cup. That's usually my main show. I do Governor's Cup. I'm actually going to be switching it up, probably going to Vegas and doing some muscle contest shows this year, just to get around some few other judges, and so they can actually see my physique, and then they can actually grade me on what I need to improve on, whether that be my lats or whether it be my traps or whether that be my shoulders or back or whatever the case may be. All right, let's move on. Scott Davison, why would any other team be willing to take on Jimmy G and his contract? What GM head coach want that heat if he gets hurt again? Yeah, Scott Davison from YouTube, another one of my loyal followers on YouTube. You're absolutely right. I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that. I have no idea what the answer is to that. All right, Fortnite's Ultimate Report from YouTube says, you're right, way too much hate in this world. Thank you for positive vibes. I'm all about them good vibes only. That's all I got to say about that. The BEASTwriter family is all about good vibes only. Again, not everyone on YouTube follows me because of my 49ers analysis. Obviously, I would say a good 65% of you guys, I would say 70% of you guys are 49ers fans. But then I have the 30% that are Packers fans, Panthers fans, Carolina. Can I say Carolina Panthers fans, Green Bay Packers fans, Steelers fans. So Arizona Cardinals fans. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And my goal is to actually have every fan base coming into one to where we can actually have a strong, healthy debate. You see people on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, oh, you're an idiot, you're a troll, da da da. Like, it's like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, bro. And then you ask them to come back with a logical, analytical question as to why we are idiots, or why it's like, why you come at me sideways, bro? Why don't you come at me with facts? If you don't, then that's just, you don't have anything to say because there's nothing to say. So are we really idiots, or is it just you? I don't know. Just saying. Just saying. Oh, there's my man, Fred Warner Sr. What is going up, man? Fred Warner Sr., my man. He knows what's up. He follows me on YouTube and Twitter and subscribes to my channel. Always shows me love. Thank you. I appreciate you, Fred. I hope your son gets paid because your son deserves to get paid. If he's not getting paid, he needs to go somewhere else, man. I'm telling you, man. The Niners need to pay him in a front-loaded deal valued at $18 to $20 million. If they're not doing it, he needs to get paid somewhere else, because why are they dragging their feet, man? Like, free agency is just right around the corner, man. They need to re-sign him before Darius Leonard, Tremaine Edmonds, some of these other guys help reset the market, like Roquan Smith, and Fred Warner is just, his stock is just going to go up, man. Your son's stock is just going to go up. So thank you for tuning in, my man. I love it when you do that, and we'll talk soon. We'll talk soon, brother. All right, let's move on. Could we get Jacoby Brissett? Jacoby Brissett. Ooh, that's a good one, Ravi from YouTube. Jacoby Brissett. I like Jacoby Brissett. I like Jacoby Brissett a lot, but I'd rather have Jimmy G. I think I'm more of a fan of Jimmy G than a lot of you guys. I don't know why, but it sounds like you guys are all, not you, all of you, but it sounds like some of you are down on Jimmy G, but I really like Jimmy G. I still think he can take the Niners to a Super Bowl if he stays healthy. See, that's what it comes down to. Can he stay healthy, right? Gosh, it's one of those things where nostalgia kicks in, and it's like, man, he was so good back in 2019. He was so good. So good. And then what happened? Gosh, man. Seems like yesterday they were in the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, Randy C415 from YouTube. How you doing, Randy? Thank you for tuning in to the BEASTwriter Family Podcast, where social media engagement is encouraged. I don't think I talked to you yet, buddy, but let's see your question. Niners would need 2 first-rounders for Fred Warner. Ain't going to get that for an inside linebacker. Do the 49ers gain anything for not extending him now? No. To answer your question, Randy, absolutely not. They don't gain anything from not extending him. That's why you have to extend them, because look at it. How would you like it? Now, I always do it because we live here in the Bay Area, and, here's like biotech sales, right? Silicon Valley, the startups, the .com, right? It's like you being number one in sales, outperforming the guy who was getting paid number one, like he was number one in sales. So let's say you're number one in sales at a 10 company, and you're getting paid 18th percent of what this other guy is getting paid. Like, basically, the guy who is behind you, who's like last in sales. Well, let's not say last. Let's say third in sales is getting paid more than you, who gets number one in sales. And it's like, why is this guy getting paid way more than me? Like, he gets paid $18 million and he's third in sales. I'm number one in sales and I get paid less than $1 million. Like, how does that work out? How is the third guy getting paid more than me when I'm number one in sales? Like, how does that logically make sense? Oh, because you're new. You're a rookie, bro. You signed that contract. Oh, okay. Well, that sucks. I didn't have a choice. We're under the collective bargaining agreement. Okay. Well, I want a new contract. Can we do that? Because I'm outperforming him the last 2 years, and he's getting paid $17 million more than me, and I'm not even getting paid $1 million, and he's getting 18. So, like, that's $34 million if I'm doing the math, and overdue money over the last 2 years, because I've been beating him in sales for 2 years now. So why wait? That's money that's already in his bag, That should already be in his bank account. So in this front-loaded deal, Fred Warner should get paid no less than $18 to $20 million because that's his value in a front-loaded deal. Fred Warner needs to be paid. Fred Warner needs to be paid. And if you guys think that Fred Warner would be earning any less if it was on any different team, or should be earning less than on any team, you'd be doing yourself a disservice. At the end of the day, Fred Warner is the heart and soul of the defense. You take away Fred Warner from that 49ers defense, you remove the heart. You already took out the soul with DeForest Buckner. So you lose the heart and soul in back-to-back seasons. Good luck with that, 49ers defense. Good luck with that, DeMeco Ryans, in your first year as a defensive coordinator. Good luck. Because you don't have a quarterback of the secondary, or a quarterback, of the defense as a whole. You don't even have a quarterback of the secondary. Oh, you do have Jimmy Ward. But Fred Warner is the heart and soul of the defense, plain and simple. If you lose Fred Warner, you think Dre Greenlaw can come in and actually be the guy, the vocal leader, the team captain? Maybe, but he's a little bit young. But is he on the par of Fred Warner? Absolutely not. So you're asking somebody who's not even in that position to go ahead and fill in that position because you can't afford, or you don't want to pay Fred Warner what he's worth? That's stupid. That's dumb. That is dumb. Yep, everybody loves it, man. Like, I'm telling you, Fred Warner's dad is all about it. He loves my podcast. I love Fred Warner Sr. It is great to have him on. Thank you for tuning in. I saw your tweets. I saw you liking my tweets, buddy. I'm just saying, man, your son needs to be resigned. If they're not going to resign him, he needs to request a trade. I'm saying, man, because like that's a slap in his face. I think it's a slap in Fred Warner's face. I think it's a slap in your son's face that he's not being resigned, especially now, and he's doing a front-loaded deal. And why they're dragging their feet? Are they using him as possibly trade bait for using Jimmy Garoppolo as part of a move to maybe the Houston Texans or some other team because they're still in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes behind the scenes that no one's talking about? I don't know. I'm not saying that it is, but I think it is interesting to point out that Fred Warner, your son, is not getting paid. He needs to get paid, and he needs to get paid now. So that's all I got to say about that. We are going to be wrapping up this podcast. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. If you did, please hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner of your screen as you stay up to date on all things Beast in real time. Also, if you're watching this live on Twitter or Periscope, whatever your case may be, there is a link to my YouTube channel in the bio. Go ahead and click on that link and you can subscribe. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night. BEASTwriter out.